last time on Asmiliath Adventures. We pick up as our heroes arrive in Northwatch. Lord Athelvane is convinced by Sir Florent Lemoyne to depart his group and approach Count Barbet by himself. Upon arriving at Northwatch Castle and meeting the infamous Count Barbet that he has heard of for quite some time with the intention of healing a sick and frail old man, Valoran very quickly realizes that he has been softly betrayed, is how I will put it lightly. As the reveal of being deceived is put forth, Thor has a vision or a sensation from Dog that stirs him from his prayer and sets him upon the path of going to rescue his trapped best friend. So as the Golden Hearts, Clay, Decker, and Thor begin to delve into a sewer to enter the castle from below, Valoran has a rather hopefully insightful, but we'll see how much that dialogue sits, conversation with Count Barbet, where various revelations and bits of knowledge are revealed. There's also discussed that Novan has had quite a hand here, at least in Northwatch Castle, if not folk as a whole, and the small tidbit of information that a nameless Goliath clan shelters here from time to time. As this conversation comes to a close and our valiant heroes find themselves outside the door of the throne room, a fight breaks out in which guards are slain. Count Barbet is attempted to be held hostage before he is very quickly dispatched by one of our heroes. As the cries of panic and pain, the very distant and muted sounds of blood dripping down from the catwalk and scattering across the marble floor, the party find themselves, besides Decker, who is stood up on the catwalk, the party find themselves stood on a little raised platform which the thrones are placed. The freshly dehydrated corpse of Count Barbet is crumpled on the floor. The beginnings of the contents of his intestines are pressing up against the paper-thin skin and beginning to create a rather rotten and potent smell for all of you gathered. Thor, as you are stood atop this raised platform, kind of getting a gathering of the situation, you see the last few remaining guards bolt through that southern door out into the main entrance hall. Keeping an ear out, you would, and also spotting Florent turning and leaving, you would hear distant footsteps descending down that stone staircase you had just gone up. And as everything be kind of like, we move out of the slow motion of combat and back into real time or the real world, you hear the sound of metal being fussed with, the sound of metal scraping away from each other, and that is where we will pick up.
So I moved to Barbet's body to find the ring box with the eye and hope that it didn't also get dehydrated.
That would still be in his clutches. If you check the ring box, it would be open and it would be fine.
And look up and say, Decker, Clay, after Lemoyne. He's not going to get away with this.
Just, I'd nod my head and I would duck out the door instead of that I saw him leave through.
So you're up on that raised platform, so you're going to race down the stairs, come around, and go through the main level?
No, I'll just jump off and go under, I mean.
Alright. Some Decker flourish, I'll take it. Clay, Thor, what are you doing?
Clay will follow. In his slow pace. Try to catch up.
Thor?
I'll just kind of quickly look down at the body and just say, we weren't supposed to kill him. And I will attempt to go after the guards instead of Lemoyne.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of look to Valoran and say, like, I'll try to get the guards and then I will vault that, whatever's in front of me, and then
little railing.
yeah, and just kind of step on the statue as a foot, and then just walk off.
Okay. Decker, are you pursuing Florent at like your max pace? Or are you pacing yourself? Are you kind of what approach are you taking?
I'll go at my max pace.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check. And I guess Clay, if you're following behind, give me one as well. All right. And so, Thor, what is your goal chasing the guards currently? Are you trying to, like, chase them and grab them? Are you trying to scare them off? Or are you just trying to find them? What's the purpose?
Yeah, chase and subdue by like whatever means I can. So like if they resist, then obviously I'm gonna like, I don't know, knock them out real quick or something, just like to keep them in the castle.
Okay. So, Decker, as you go barreling over this railing, darting through the door that you had seen Florent leave through, as you're chasing down the stairs and the distant sound of that kind of like clinking, shaking metal is just drifting through the cobble hallways that you run through, you burst into that the little like sewer room, the storage room that you had passed through initially entering the castle, and you see that the lock that had been kind of dummy placed over the grate has been taken off, the door has been pushed open, and that is the scene that you enter. Are you also chasing down the sewer?
So, am I here?
Yes.
Like right here, I mean?
No, you were in the sewer room. You were in the right room correctly
Okay,
the first
so
time.
right there, okay.
Yeah, and the lock that Thor had placed back on, like as a show, has been removed, and the door's open. So,
Yeah, at this point, I'll keep running.
okay. Clay, as you race down the steps and you're following Decker, who's kind of like weaving through these hallways like a shadow, just darting from one wall to the next and then into that open doorway into the storage room. You enter the storage room after as Decker is beginning to move through the sewer system. That's their kind of like tightly packed, confined space you had to like crawl through when entering. Now he's struggling to try and dive through at this point. As you're stood in the doorway watching your companion move forward, you take a singular moment and you hear this like slight shifting of movement behind the box in the northeast corner, very close to where you had kind of hid when you would enter this room only moments ago, where you'd snuff that candle out. But that would be the scene that you walk into, sir.
Clay would look over in that corner and call out, "Toss out your weapons, and you'll be spared."
Yes. Decker would whirl around and wonder what the hell he was talking about.
Yeah, you can like turn around as you're just about to like go into the sewer. Give me a persuasion check, Clay. All right. Clay, as you call out and you hold your ground by the door, Decker, you've turned and you're now kind of stood in about knee-height water in the sewer. The little waterway that runs through this room is about 3 feet below the floor, so you're kind of almost eye level with the floor itself. You would see, if I can get this right, there we go. Florent kind of like peeks his head over one of the boxes in the corner. You see him holding his rapier up, and he just very gently reaches over the box, lays it down in front of him, holds his hands up, looking at you first, Clay, since you called out. "I am unarmed. I just want to live, and I want to leave. I mean no harm."
I'll cautiously approach the area that he laid the rapier down. Am I able to pick it up?
Yeah, you could walk over and pick that up.
Okay, I'll pick it up, and then just keeping my back to the wall, I'll back up and go to about here.
Okay. Yeah, he would just kind of like move his gaze from Clay to Decker to Clay to Decker and just nod his head, hand still held up. "I'm just going to leave. I mean no harm. I just want to go."
I never said anything about leaving. I merely said I would spare you.
"Can you promise that I will be spared?"
You have both of our promises. No one else need die today.
Are you being deceptive in this current moment?
No.
Okay. So he would just, again, look back and forth between you two, nod very slowly, and begin kind of like putting his hands down just to start shifting out of the boxes. Thor, as you go barreling out of those south doors leading down into the courtyard, I'm not going to worry about getting all the tokens out here, but as you enter the courtyard, bursting through that kind of small vertical entrance hallway that you have to pass through, there are about 2 different guards up on the wall near the gatehouse that controls the gate going up and down. They appear to have just recently gotten the gate all the way up, as 2 of the guards are racing for the gate that's now open. One of them's holding an injury from the fight that you just had. There's other individuals that don't seem to be guards, but perhaps, you know, some of the servants that were left behind, or other people that you just don't really have an identity for quite yet, all moving towards that main gate, trying to escape to the south.
Could I just, like, yell out, "Stop, or you will be hunted down"?
Go ahead, give me intimidation, or are you trying to be more persuasive?
More intimidate. I mean, it's the same, but intimidation.
Okay. Alright. The guard that is injured turns around, he meets your gaze as you're stepping out into the night air, and your fine Goliath physique is on full display, and he kind of, like, there's a moment where you see his gaze, and you can see this, like, flicker of emotion passing through him, and it's just, like, quickly realizing that he's not going to get far in his current condition, and so he turns and he kind of freezes. The, I guess, civilians, for lack of a better term, just keep racing for the door. They're not concerned about who you are or what you want. It's just time to leave. But the other guard beside the one that just was injured stops, kind of looks at his, I guess, brethren or his brother in arms, kind of looks back at you, and he also pauses. So now there's just like 2 guards in the middle of the courtyard with the rest of the individuals trying to flee.
And I will just, like, I'll hold my hands up, even though, like, you know, giant Goliath coming at them. I'm gonna, like, walk forward and just say, "Not exactly how I meant for that to happen. If you couldn't tell by me not killing, well, kind of not killing your leader, I really just meant to save my friend. I feel like we can all understand that. And from what I saw down in the dungeon, seems like you guys have had a pretty rough time here."
Give me persuasion. Valor, are you doing anything in particular at this moment?
I'm not comfortable letting Thor be by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we have to, at a minimum, be under the buddy system. So I'm going to follow him after I got the eye back.
So as you are moving at a much more moderate pace, leaving the throne room with fresh blood still dribbling down onto the floor, crossing that entrance hallway, you see Thor kind of lumbering into the darkness, this large, imposing figure, his width even enlarged further as he holds his arms out, this fierce, intimidating warrior bearing down these 2, like, frail, frightened guards, and you would hear your friend attempting genuinely to reach out to these guards, but they are having almost the exact opposite effect, where they are now almost on the ground. The injured one is clutching himself as the one is trying to, like, stand in front of his friend and defend him ever so slightly, but they are both staring up, absolutely terrified of Thor in this current moment.
So joining Thor at his side, I will say to the guards, "If you cooperate from here, then I absolve you of wrongdoing, and your wounds will be seen to."
Go ahead, give me a persuasion check. Alright. Good cop, bad cop, I like it. Alright.
I imagine Thor is like this. Like, he imagines he's like this, but he's actually like this,
Mhm.
and he's smiling, and his teeth are out.
Yeah, you know, being Thor. Valorant, as you step up beside your much larger companion and you stare down at these two guards, where previously one of them had been injured by you, I think, if I remember it correctly. And they move their gaze from Thor to you just for a moment, back to Thor, and then finally resting on you for more than a moment. I don't want to die today. Just leave us be.
Leaving you be is asking a bit much under the circumstances, but as I said, cooperate and you will survive.
The injured one, who's kind of like being protected by the one above him, he kind of looks up at the guard beside him. He's like, let Jerry go. I'll stay. I'll tell you anything you want.
Here's my concern. Is there some other force waiting outside the castle?
Talking about them, and he kind of points at Thor.
Where are they?
They only come when the rain comes, when the lightning comes.
Ominous. Can you stand?
Yeah, he has like an injury sustained, like kind of like one of his arms, so he like kind of looks at you and nods.
Come forward.
So he gets up with his friend, kind of helping him up, and then he's still kind of nursing it, and starts hobbling towards you.
I will continue beckoning them until he's within arm's reach, and then I will lay on hands just enough to stop bleeding, heal him to not necessarily full, but stable.
Okay.
How many points would that be?
I mean,
Roughly.
it'd probably be like 1 or 2. Like, it's not like he's grievously injured. He's just injured enough to show it.
Okay, I'll just throw a point on him then, and that we'll say that stops bleeding. Barbet the traitor is dead, and my comrades are hunting his right-hand man. No doubt they will be successful. There's no need for you to flee, if you don't intend any more interference.
Can he go? And he kind of gestures back to his friend again.
I don't care.
He kind of looks at his friend's like, and just starts jogging out of the courtyard.
If you call the Goliaths upon us, you will regret it.
He just dismissive hand and keeps running.
And you will as well.
Oh, I don't know much. I just fucking terrified.
The worst is over, I think, at least for tonight. When was Novin last here, do you know?
A few weeks? Maybe a month, maybe more?
Any signs of his return? Will he also come with the storm?
No, he slips in quick like. We let him in and then he just goes up to the Lord's room.
I see. What about
Where
other
does he come
guards?
from? Oh, sorry.
I think he kind of like looks around and he like checks the various like patrols or stations that they would be at on the walls. He's like, I think I'm the only one left. Yeah.
Well, just in case, you will stick with us and be our advocate. If any other guards have any further misunderstanding, you can let them know that Barbet is dead and the scheme is over.
He will nod very happy and agreeable to that. Back to Decker and Clay down in the sewer room. Florence kind of like fully gotten out from behind the boxes and he's still looking back and forth between you two. He would look probably to Decker and like meet his gaze. We've been traveling together for a little bit. You know what Lord Athelvane is like. I mean you no ill will. But I fear that if we go back upstairs, I won't see tomorrow.
It's a valid fear you have, one I certainly would have in your shoes. See, the trouble is, you have been traveling with us for quite some time, under false pretexts. I've no real problem letting you live, but in all reality you are a spy. And do you understand that most spies are not accorded more than a day to live once being found out? So, if I were you, I wouldn't worry so much about how Valoran might react. I would worry more about how useful you can become. You see, if there's nothing useful in that noggin, Clay and I both promised he would not be killed by us.
Give me a persuasion real quick. Don't roll your eyes at me, Thor.
Thor's gonna have to kill someone else.
He listens, and it's... As you've been traveling in Florent for quite some time, there is like a certain attitude, a certain demeanor that he's carried, and that's distinctly and noticeably gone right now. He almost appears to be acting as like a different person entirely, and you could summarize that's probably some of the facade he's been putting on. And he looks you in the eye in a very sincere manner. Decker, I am prepared to make a deal with you. If you bring me upstairs and this turns into some long interrogation where I lose some limbs or fingers or whatever, I will not tell you a thing. I will go to my grave. If you let me go right now, I will tell you whatever you want.
What's the difference between telling me whatever you want now or later?
So I'm not going to tell you if we go back upstairs.
You won't be tortured. Do you understand how ridiculously inefficient torture is? It wastes our time, it's morally reprehensible, and you will say whatever we want to hear.
He kind of looks over at Clay, almost like waiting to see if Clay is going to, I guess, confirm the statement.
I assure you, Lemoyne, we don't need torture.
Look, what's
Look.
going to happen is you are going to come back with us to Valoran, who, as you know, can cast a zone in which you have to be truthful.
Or silent.
Or
And how
dead.
would that serve you? Or dead. Look, really, I'm tired. I really am. And I didn't want things to go the way they did today. I would much prefer to have talked. Let's go talk.
You see him kind of look over at the open grate again, and then kind of like stare down at the floor. He's obviously kind of pondering his options in the minute. I'm taking you at your word.
And I'm giving you your fucking sword back. I'll hand him his sword.
Kind of looks down at it, almost like thinking it's like some sort of trick. It's like, I don't see what good that's going to do me.
Look, I found out that I might be some Ponzi noble after all. I'm going to act like it.
Kind of very gently grab it, puts it back in his sheath, and make sure that his hands are very readily visible. Lead the way then, Lord.
You know the way. You can lead.
So he would move by Clay if you move out of the doorway and lead you guys back upstairs, I suppose.
Clay would have entangle, just kind of sitting, swirling in his hand as they follow.
Okay. So, Valorant and Thor, I'm assuming you move out of the courtyard, kind of back into the entrance hall, potentially?
While I'm in the courtyard, do I see my horse?
Yes, because you did come in on Belgrease. It would have been stabled outside the gate. Because, this is kind of the interior bailey of the castle, and then there's, like, another exterior wall outside of this. So you would assume he's in, like, the stables on that exterior wall.
Before we go back in, I'm gonna call out to him and bring him inside where I can see him and access him.
All right. As you are like standing in the courtyard, I guess letting Thor like escort the guard in, and you're staring at the open portcullis of this interior wall, you call out to your mount, and you get this like small delay. And as you're listening out, you're just kind of like peering into the darkness of the night. You hear this like, and then a big loud splintering, and then almost like trotting around the corner, you would see Belgrease with a piece or a chunk of the wood that he'd been lashed to hanging from his harness as he just starts trotting up to you in the courtyard.
Well done. Well done. Come here and let me get that off you.
But as everyone gathers into the Great Hall, or the entrance hallway, I guess to be more specific, Florent would enter the room before being followed closely by Decker and Clay. Thor would enter with a guard as Valorant then enters moments after. We would all accumulate in this hallway.
Valorant, we had a chat with Florent, and he's agreed to come back as long as we've agreed not to kill him outright. Can we honor that request for the time being?
Agreements, is it? I think that will be fine for the time being. My face is actually like the picture of calm in this moment.
Yeah, Florent would kind of enter and lock eyes with the guard that you guys have captured or detained, and they both kind of like share a glance before they stay silent for the moment.
I'm going to just sort of stroll before Lemoyne and say, well, Sir Lemoyne. Or perhaps it's just Lemoyne now. Your plan was shit.
Was it my plan, to be fair?
Well, you're going to reap the benefits.
Such is the life of a loyal, serving man.
I think we both know that all your tomorrows are in my grasp. And you must buy them back one at a time with your good and useful behavior.
Whatever you want, my lord.
What was going to happen next in this scheme?
Hopefully you believe me when I say that I was not privy to such things. I was sent to retrieve you, and that is all I know.
Oh.
Laser eyes.
In the current situation, if my dog will stop licking himself, the same kind of description that I gave Decker earlier, I guess you saw a glimpse of the true Florent in the throne room when he kind of like gave you a bit of a sneering jab, that's a word. you appear to be speaking to the man himself versus the mask that you have been traveling with. There is absolutely no deception in his gaze right now. There is this begrudging, I don't want to say respect, but acknowledgement of the situation. And he is more or less in the place to answer whatever question that keeps him alive. He's almost maybe potentially showing a little bit of fear that his answer might not be believed in the current moment.
How did Barbet signal Novin?
As far as I'm aware, Novin just shows up. Or there is some way of signaling him. I am not aware. I've not been here for a while.
So what do you know?
Not a lot.
You're the
What was-
right-hand man, are you not?
That has been gone for the last 4 months, following your brave band.
Who would know?
Well,
If anyone.
he kind of like glances at the door that leads to the throne room and then to Clay. My liege certainly would have been privy. But with him no longer with us, I would imagine his office, or his person, might hold some answers.
Are there any dangers left to us in this castle?
He kind of like thinks for a moment, looks at the guard like shakes his head over at him. Not that I am aware of.
Traps?
Why would we trap our castle?
His office? Do you know if there's anything in his office that when we're searching it might cause us harm?
Not that I am aware of, and I have spent at least some time in there. Just not behind his desk, I suppose.
Barbet has a family, a mistress, a houseboy.
His wife died some time ago. Don't think he has any heirs. He's a very private man. I think you've ended his line.
Well, he was old enough that he ended it on his own years ago. We're not fostering a sire.
I think we're all forgetting about the rotting pile of corpses in the dungeon. Let's not mourn a monster.
Oh, by all means, let's not forget the rotting pile of bodies in the other room either.
Well, one is fresher than the other, idiot.
I don't see how that makes a difference.
You
Did one
wouldn't.
put up- Yeah.
What was your reward in all of this? If everything went smoothly, I'm certain a man cannot have such humble aspirations as to only hope to serve his lord when the world breaks around him.
The understanding was when the world was cleansed of greedier individuals, Barbet would take his title and I would take a lower title beneath him, but finally step into the nobility that I have been so diligently serving my life.
A king of ashes is a king of nothing.
From my perspective, it's preferable to licking the horse shit off of Lord's boots.
Well, now you won't even get to do that. Take us to his office.
Kind of just bow his head and lead you upstairs. So on the map, if you guys could attempt to keep your tokens roughly in the correct place, he would lead you over to the west, which is the second level, and then kind of step outside the door to the office and gesture to it. It would be the more or less kind of war room looking area to the west of Florence Token. So that would be the room that he is speaking of.
I try the door.
That'd be unlocked.
All right. Just almost casually over my shoulder, I say, "Make sure someone has his back at all times."
I'll
And
have
then-
the other guard kind of right between me and Clay, so we're kind of forming a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Can't escape through.
And then I step into the office.
All right. You'd be met with a rather modest office to kind of match the size of the keep that you're currently in. There are, there's various bookshelves around. There's the large kind of strategic table off in the corner. The desk on the other end of the room. There's various like hunting trophies hung from the walls. It's a very like comfortable, like inviting room to step into.
Decker,
Yes.
I know you have an eye for detail. Allow me to help you toss this office.
And
Decker.
all right.
Keep an
and
eye
then
for the things that twinkle, and have some guidance, and add the 5 to whatever it is you end up rolling.
Okay.
all right. And so I'm gonna get advantage, add 5, and
And a D4.
Advantage +9
Yep.
potentially.
And Decker, as he is, about to start searching, goes to fire off a quick prayer to Brumitz in the way that he's been instructed, and as this happens, he feels a little different sensation inside of him than normal, and can I cast Bless?
Sure.
All right, so I cast Bless, and as I'm saying it, I think of myself, Valoran, and Thor, and we're all blessed for the time being. All right, so now what am I rolling?
Investigation.
But there we go.
Investigation,
3
add
minutes ago.
advantage, plus a 5, plus another D4, plus another D4.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, thank God, I suppose. Literally.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Roll
So
2D4, right?
it's a 2d4,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so that's
no,
plus
'cause
6.
that's only for saving throw.
What?
Bless.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's attack roll or
Nice.
saving throw.
Attack roll or
Oh,
saving.
okay. Yeah, never mind. All right. So just 1d4.
So
And then-
19.
And then I plus 5, so 24.
No, it's already added in.
Oh, it is. Who
Yeah, so
who
it's
did the plus 5?
Seth did. So it's 11 plus 5 plus 3.
Okay,
So 19.
there we go. Yeah,
Yep.
19.
Okay.
So I don't cast Bless. Never mind.
D&D.
Yeah.
Leveling up. You guys love it, I'm sure. Okay. So, Decker, as you enter the room after Valorant and you guys begin working together to move around the room and investigate, terminology is incredible. The desk that you step up to has a scattering of papers on it, and Valorant, as you're kind of looking it over, scanning it with your eyes, as Decker is like moving into the drawers and checking under the desk itself, you start recognizing family names here and there, and you see this journal or this ledger is kind of organized into these strange lines, and there's like a family name and like a bunch of letters and words that just don't match up following behind it. It like when you're reading it, it appears to be almost some kind of code or some kind of scrambled just mess or some ramblings of a lunatic. Like it would just be like goblet, 7th day, 3/4 turn, understone, courtyard, very north, or something of that sort. Just really strange, disconnected sentences. As you were reading over those, trying to make sense of that, Decker, as you are diving underneath the desk where the drawers stop and the legs kind of leave like a foot gap between the floor, you would find a small locked chest, perhaps about a foot wide and 2 feet long, that you kind of drag out into the open. As you also start pulling out the drawers and like digging through the papers in there, you would begin finding what you could more or less assume are notes, or maybe observations, or just little thoughts of Count Barbet as he had been sat in his desk. And just glancing over them, maybe Decker, you'd have to pass them up to Valorant, you would again start recognizing like family names, but with notes that make a lot more sense, that aren't all jambled or scrambled up, mentioning either like what lands people held, or what problems they had, or, you know, who they were loyal to, or what correspondence he'd recently had. Just almost like a day-by-day, just like dumping of Count Barbet's thoughts, if that makes sense. So that would be all the accumulation of stuff that you find just at his desk.
Okay, nothing was locked, right?
The chest is locked.
Oh, the chest is locked. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's sleight of hand.
That is dexterity plus your proficiency modifier.
Oh, dexterity. That's right.
I ask the guard a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't know anything, and I'll just poke Florent on the head,
Mm-hmm.
what do you know?
He kind of like
You're
looks up
around
at
here all the time.
Flora and looks back at you. I only know what they let me see. I stand where I'm supposed to stand. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm here.
Here, right?
What?
I said, you hear a lot, right?
I'll try not to. You don't know. He looks back over at Florent. We haven't all been agreeing as of late.
About, like, the bodies downstairs?
Kind of like silently shakes his head and looks at Florent again.
So, I guess I'll turn to Florent. Are you on the agreeing side of that?
Well, Thor, he would be dead if he disagreed. I think that was...
Florent would kind of incline his head a little bit. It was either agree or die. You do the rest.
Okay, but what about now?
I am very much in the camp of I want to live. I don't particularly care about anything else.
So, you didn't think that you could live with us versus living with a duke who says, hey, you're just gonna die if you don't do what I say?
Thor, you are new to folk. There is not as much freedom as you think there is.
Definitely seen that. I mean, I've already been to yeah, that guy. Weren't you there? Didn't you see how that went?
Yes, Thor, I was there.
I mean, you know, obviously it didn't go great at the end, but like the treatment of people, I understand how it works.
See,
But, like-
I'm not Thor. I'm sorry. I'm not buying this.
Decker
You
comes storming
would-
back out of the room.
You were in the presence of. You're not that close.
They're outside the room right now.
Yeah,
but
I'm
you
just,
could
like,
you could have
in the-
heard that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just pissing me off at this point. Like, you were in the presence of a folkish noble. You witnessed our actions for months, which were undeniably tilted on the good side of things, yet you talk about having no choice. All you had to do was leave the service of one noble and join another if you truly were good.
You're right.
Okay, now
Well, that
that I
was
don't
easy.
believe. Now that was too easy.
I don't know what you want me to say. I served my liege to the best of my ability. I'm not supposed to question such things being a commoner. I try to do the best I can. I don't really know you. I've been serving my lord my entire life.
What does the title Sir mean?
It means that I have been knighted.
Which is not a commoner.
It's not a noble. And in folk, that's all that matters.
Valoran, have any folkish knights ever attained nobility?
I'm still inside the office, like,
Everyone's getting dragged back out.
did Decker get that chest open, by the way?
No, he left it back there.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
It's not going anywhere.
I'm
It's a
still in the
mimic.
office, like, messing with that stuff. I have no, like, from inside the office, I go, eh? Oh, I'm sure at some point in history.
It's not unheard of, but you understand what Florence kind of speaking of if he's not being a bit black and white about it.
I'm sorry, it's frustrating when people hide behind a title or lack thereof. And your actions as a man can be determined by much more and much less than a title, if that makes any sense. Ah, fuck it. Locks are more fun than people. And then I'll go back to the lock.
Look for the shiny bits.
I agree with you completely, Caspian, but don't waste your breath. He's disgraced debris of a man. He has no home, no mission. It's over.
Just hear Thor under his breath just be like, ouch.
Was that for me? Don't look for the shiny bits?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take an extra 6 on whatever you roll.
Alright.
So yeah, Dex plus your proficiency.
Yeah.
+6, plus like 90, -2.
That was a natural
Hey, what-
one.
So Decker, as you go back behind the desk and you are still fuming with Florent, you're just like, stupid fucking imbecile, and you crouch down and you start fiddling with the lock. It's an actual like internal lock that's built into the chest itself. It's not like an external padlock, and so you have to like tilt the chest up a little bit. You get your lockpicking tools in there, and you're still just kind of like cursing under your breath as you're beginning to work. You know, Valorant's talking to you, Clay's talking to you. You're just not quite focused, and you hear a click, and in your mind you're like, ah, cool. You know, I got this. You know, no problem. Before a dart shoots out from the locking mechanism and sticks right between your eyes, and you go a little bit cross-eyed for a moment. As you take 14 poison damage.
Do I retain consciousness?
Yes, for all intents and purposes, you're fine, but you feel this, like, heat, this, like, draining sensation moving through your face as you, like, quickly take the needle out of your skin, and you just feel, like, kind of woozy, a little bit, like, off your rocker as you're realizing what's just happened.
So it's not like actual poison, like he doesn't have to save from anything?
No, not right now.
Okay. Not right now. Jeez.
Are you all right?
I think I would lean over the table and throw up. No. I was stupid. Danica can pick blocks better than that.
Well,
Can I reattempt or
It certainly can, yeah.
on the bright side, it surely could only have one dart, right?
Surely.
well, I'll find out, I suppose. And
I'll just turn to Clay. Say, sounds like things are going well in there.
You know, rule number 1. Shiny
Wrong
bits.
roll. Or is that you checking
Oh.
for traps?
yeah, I was looking to see if there was
Uh-huh. It looks fine.
All right. I've never. Yeah, I haven't heard of a double trap, but we'll see.
Surely.
You just hear another like shotgun. Okay. All right.
So it's 28 then.
Yeah. As you still feel the pain and like the color leaving your face, and you go back to the chest, you're just more exasperated, but at least you're like, nothing can shoot me again. Start working at the lock as everyone else is going about their business. You start getting a few of the tumblers up, working your way down the little teeth of the lock. Eventually you do the last one, you hear this thing click, you shift the tools, and you unlock the chest.
All right. And before I look at what's inside of it, so kind of in the same flavor as what I was doing with Bless, but I just kind of remember the prayer that and the spell that Gavin's been working on with me, and I go to try to cast Healing Word on myself.
Okay.
And that's 5 points of damages. It's the first time it's ever happened too, so I'd be pretty psyched about that.
Do you want me to give you some flavor, or do you want to give yourself some flavor?
You go for it.
So, yeah, we'll say Valorant, as you're kind of working in the desk as your nearest Decker, you know, kind of glancing down to make sure even after him throwing up a little bit of evening supper kind of trailing down his chin, you're just keeping an eye on him to make sure he doesn't keel over or get shot a second time. As he leans forward and, you know, gets the chest open, you see him pause for a moment, close his eyes, a little bit of muttering coming out from under his breath. The, like, loose fabric of his shirt leans forward a little bit, allowing you to see, like, the top half of the tattoo that it mysteriously appeared on his skin not so long ago. As you see him murmuring, you see the prayer get deeper and deeper. The points of the flower, where there are 6 distinctly coming off of the skull, begin to rotate across his skin, start to spin around the center of the tattoo, and it's just ever so subtle. It's not fast or violent in any sort of way. They just kind of shift one more rotation to the right, and then you would see Decker kind of like come to himself, the color return to his face, you know, wipe a little bit of the vomit that's still on his beard and or his stubble, and then go to the chest. You opening the chest now, sir?
I would step away and I would just gesture towards it. It appears to be open.
Well done.
We'll
I'll
see.
throw that thing open and go digging.
Okay. As you, I guess, more or less kick the lid open, it is it's a somewhat small box. It's only maybe like half a foot in depth. There are 3 different canvas sacks set inside of it.
I open them all.
So as you start pulling the drawstrings out, peering into each bag, you would see that they're each full of coin, various different copper, silver, gold, somewhat uncertain, you know, what the actual number is that you're looking at.
Well, this will do for a consolation prize. And I take the notes and the papers that we found. Were the notes that made sense and the notes that didn't make sense in the same handwriting?
Yes.
Okay. So I take all of that stuff and stuff it into this chest with the sacks, and then close it and just hoist the whole thing.
Okay.
And I guess on my way out, I'll just look at the bookshelves, kind of search them over.
Okay. Yeah, give me just an investigation flat.
Ah.
The Valorant ones return. Yeah, just glancing at them as you move by, they appear to be what any, I guess, respectable lord would have in his personal library or office. You know, various law books and records and accounts and various books on history and, you know, that kind of thing. Nothing that would stand out to you in the moment.
So I come back out to the hallway and then very casually just look at Lemoyne and point at the double doors down the hall and kind of raise my eyebrows.
The ones to the southwest?
To the north.
Oh, gotcha. My bad. He like looks at you, looks at the door, and are you like asking what it is?
I just kind of point and go, hmm?
That's the bedroom.
And then walk to the double doors and go to throw those open.
Okay. You would enter into the bedroom, which kind of matching the theme of what you've discovered thus far. You know, it's not anything overly extravagant. It's certainly not built for show. There's a wide double bed. There's a few dressers in the room. There's a nice large fireplace on the western wall with a few different portraits and pieces of artwork. One seeming to showcase whatever the late wife of Count Barbet might have been, but you know, it's left as if he had, you know, just slept here last night, as he most likely did. You know, covers kind of thrown to the side, you know, bits of clothing kind of tossed around. It's also a good example that perhaps the servants or the amount of servants that he has is rather slim because it's left in such a state of, I don't know, disheveledness.
Gaspade, are you up for more, or do you need a break?
Oh. No. Feeling better already.
So, Deckers, you leave the office, and Thor and Clay, you're stood beside Florent and the guard, everyone just kind of like still winding down from the very roller coaster of events that everyone has been through. Clay, as you're lowest to the ground and nearest to the window, you're kind of just like looking around at like the large vaulted ceiling of the hallway that you're in, the different chandeliers and the sets of armor and just the general state of this building that you're standing in. The window just to your south that you can look out and look into the courtyard below, the curtains of the window kind of like lift ever so slightly, kind of dance on the wind for a few moments before you get this distinct smell, this whiff of humidity, and then a few moments later you hear this like this growing roar of thunder that eventually crescendos and then fades away. It's still rather distant, but you can pick it up.
Lads, we got a storm.
What did you say about them coming with the storm?
The guard's like already looking at a panic as Clay speaks. He's like, "Oh, they're coming! The big ones!"
From what direction?
The road, I assume.
Damn. Do we have a quick way of letting the caravan know to get here?
I could try to fly to them, but
we can write a note and I can have Aurora fly it to them.
Could also yell really loud. Although, didn't we like tell Moony, Gap? I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Didn't we tell him to Giggles to message us? Like, I don't know.
You told him to message Valoran.
Yeah.
But yeah, you told the caravan to get off the road and wait for a bit, and they're about an hour away from the castle right now, on horseback.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the best we got.
As you guys are all in the hallway, Florent would kind of find Valor and kind of nod his head towards him. I imagine they won't be inviting when they don't see Northwatch guards at the gate.
No, but this had to happen sometime. In a way, it's convenient.
Two birds.
Funeral.
One rock.
You thought that before.
Despite what you may think, Lord Athelvane, we were not intent on killing you, otherwise you would be dead.
I'm not interested in these...
Well, then stop bringing it up, you piece of shit.
You just lost one of your tomorrows.
Fucking kill me. And stop berating me like a fucking beaten dog.
Don't you see? You're not even as good as a beaten dog anymore.
He draws his rapier.
Come on, then. Who let you keep that thing anyway?
I did because I assured him that we wouldn't kill him. But you put that thing away or you're gonna get yourself killed, you dummy.
I have been nothing but easy to work with, given the circumstances, and you are intent on belittling me. So if you're going to just use me as a verbal punching bag, then let's just be over with it.
Fine, there are worse things. As you are about to find out.
And just boiling over, I'll just shout out and I'll command him to drop his rapier. And that is
Using a spell, I imagine.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a spell. And that is wisdom saving throw. So that's going to be 14 DC of 14 for wisdom.
He fails.
As he drops it, I'll just pick up his rapier. I'll hold on to this for right now.
What's the exact... Are you using command? What spell are you using?
Command.
Okay. He would let it slip out of his hand, and he doesn't leave Valoran's gaze. He's like, if we do not deal with the Goliaths, we're all dead anyway.
Trust me. Goliaths are my specialty.
Well, it's time to show us what you can do with them, Thor.
I'll give you credit, Lemoyne. You did it to me again. But no longer. But I'll tell you this. If you think what amounts to some friendly ribbing is bad, then you should drown yourself in the river when you leave here, because the rest of your life has got only worse in store.
Valoran, you don't have a friendly bone in your body, sir.
Not for you, no. At one time, you could have benefited, but you sold your soul so that you might someday have someone lick your boot.
As you said, it no longer matters.
From here, you'll be lucky to have boots.
The guard, meanwhile, is like so flat against the wall that he is trying to become one with the paint as Florin and Valoran start lashing at each other.
Same with Thor.
Clay will look over to the guard and pointedly ask him, where do they stay? When they come here, where do they stay?
Usually we let them into the bailey and then they just like sleep out there. They're animals, I guess, and then when they want to leave, they leave.
Hey,
Very nice animals.
So
that's a little better.
You could probably be of some service to us, should we want to let them in the castle without rousing the suspicion. Shouldn't somebody be there to meet them?
Yes, despite how quick-witted they are, they might get suspicious when there's only one of me.
You know where more of you are?
Hopefully very far away from here.
Right then.
We have extra uniforms.
Yes. How many people do they normally see?
Well, they come in, and then Tom usually says something, and then Jerry's on the interior gate, and then we have 2 down with them. 4, 5 at the most.
Well, that's makes enough of us. We can throw uniforms on and get them where we want them.
I mean, after Gustar sees me, it's not really gonna matter. Trust me.
Yes, but we need to get them where we want them before he sees you.
Highly doubt they're gonna run away.
I'm just guessing here, but the whole point is, Thor, you must fight Kuztar.
Yes, I must challenge him in 1-to-1 and beat him.
Wait,
like I have
I've
in the
got an
past.
idea. Thor, why don't you stand on the battlements, and as they march forward, you address them as a conqueror of the castle. So they already see you in a position of power. And at that point, you can issue your challenge. 1-on-1. He comes in by himself. And you have your challenge. And we don't have to deal with any other hostile Goliaths. And it makes you look very good.
Do we care about castles?
You care about
Thor.
power. You took over what they do recognize as something rather hard to take over.
You know,
Unless they're...
Kuztar is something really hard to take over. Because all they really care about is that freaking hammer.
So, brag him into fighting you.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Smaller than you.
As far as I know, the last time any of them saw you, he whooped your ass
Okay.
and threw you out, right?
It's a little mean. Yeah. No.
But no. I mean, it happens to us all. I've had my ass whooped, and
Yep.
but now they see you, and you've redeemed yourself, at least a little bit, enough to where he can't ignore your challenge again.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad idea. I mean,
I think it's splendid.
he's gonna come no matter what, but I think that I like your idea of, I guess it would be a little embarrassing if I was like, I took this whole place by myself and with like 3 other people.
Yes, no, you can have all the credit as far as I'm concerned. Lads?
I say we lure him in, and then I don't know, throw out some vines, stop the rest. Give you your chance, Thor.
Can we just like close the gate?
Wait. Won't he have to acknowledge your challenge? There's no need to trap them or separate them.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he said the next time he saw me he was gonna kill me. Something along those lines.
I'm not familiar with all the customs involved, but I would think that it's something the rest of the clan would have to witness.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're probably all gonna want to come in.
So, before we do this, are you ready for a second match with him?
Yeah, yep. I think I am.
Well, that's not as confident as I would have hoped to hear.
Well, I mean, okay, you haven't seen Kuztar, have you? Have you? No, you haven't. Yeah, so whenever you look at him, you tell me if he's beaten you like 5 million times if you're ready to finally beat him once.
I'm sure he's not any larger than Cigarette of the Night, or... What was the werewolf's name? Shadowfang.
Who's Hormtar?
I think we're all skipping over something here. Regardless of clan or honor, everything y'all have described to me, we need the hammer.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So, even if this is meant to be honorable, we have a sacred duty to get that back.
Yeah, but
So
like,
if it,
I'm just gonna put it this way, Clay. If anybody tries to kill Kustar besides me, you then have a whole horde of Goliaths to deal with after you get the hammer.
Thor is absolutely right. There is one way to do this, and it's the right way.
We should probably send your message. I don't know, do we want them to come here or to stay away? Because it seems like they might want to stay away.
I got a feeling they would probably stay away from. Are they in the direct line of march of the Goliaths?
You guys don't know what direction they're approaching
We
from
don't know
until
where
they
they
get to
are.
like the road that leads up to the castle. Obviously, they'd be following that one, but you don't know before then how they're approaching.
just warn them of the Goliaths and tell them to send us their location and to stay hidden. The best we can hope for.
As you all are discussing, by the way, Clay, as you're still kind of near the window, you begin hearing the very slow but quickly building, plop, 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 and then eventually actually striking the thick glass of the windows. You would hear rain begin to grow outside as another kind of low, distant, rumbling thunder reaches into the interior.
We don't have long. Should we stage this from the battlements then?
I mean, I'll have to be there. You all can be wherever you choose to be.
I think it's
I'll
best
just-
that we're not in the forefront. All eyes should be on you for this, Thor.
I'll just clap Florent and the soldier on the shoulders, and I'll just say, unfortunately, I have somewhere else I need to be at the current moment, so you are stuck with these three. Good luck! And I will just start walking out downstairs and towards the, I guess, right here.
And
As
he starts to go off, I'll just message Valorant. Where is Florent in relation to Valorant and I?
He's currently still just stood outside that main office door in that hallway.
Is he outside of a whisper?
Yeah, you could certainly exclude him.
Okay, so and Florent, do we restrain him? Certainly, in the excitement of a battle with Goliaths, he would take the opportunity to run, and I wouldn't blame him.
There are cells down below.
Right, that
Or
might be
throw him in the
fitting.
office. I mean,
He had to have been complicit with the deaths of those that we came across earlier. Maybe he could spend some time with them and reflect on his actions. And see what he'd rather spend time with, fresh corpses or decayed ones.
No argument from me.
Clay, you're my voice of reason in this. I know how Valorant feels towards him.
yeah, the reasonable thing is get him the hell out of here before we have a fight on our hands. I'm willing
Right.
to let him go and live, but not willing to wait around for him to stab me in the back while I've been showing him a mercy. It just...
Very well. You two. And I talk to Florent and the other guard, which I'm assuming we don't have full trust in either yet. You're not to die yet, but we can't trust you. for the time being, so would you be so kind to accompany me to the cells below?
Florent kind of steps forward, but the guard would speak up. You need someone with for the gate, or how to function the walls.
No, we don't.
I-
And look, I understand you're scared, and I understand that maybe your heart wasn't in the complete agreement with Florent or the Lord, but you didn't object.
Yeah, the ones that
So-
objected are dead.
Right. The ones with any sort of standards or morals did. So let's go reflect on that, shall we? And maybe we'll just call that time served when we're done here, should we all be alive.
Okay. Well, they would then both follow you.
I would follow them.
Okay.
Well, Clay would also join to expedite things.
Mm-hmm.
And we just take that lock that I'd previously locked, and then I'll use that to secure the door if that's possible.
Well, if you get down there and into that room, functioning around the absolute muck and disgust, you would see that each prison cell has locks for them.
Okay. All right. And is there some way to give them like a means to light a torch or something?
Yeah, there's lanterns in there that if you want. There's like also torches and lanterns around the basement that you could use to light a new source of light.
Oh, you know what? Realizing that I've tapped into my powers, I'm going to cast light just on one of the sconces on the wall, and just they've got some light.
Okay.
That lasts for an hour, I believe. I'm not really sure, but hopefully we'll be back by then.
All right. And the key ring is on the table, by the way, which I'm assuming you would take if you have them locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And yeah,
So Valorant.
I'm assuming. Wait, hold on. Did we search these guys?
Nope.
Do that real quick.
Okay. You're just gonna like shake them down.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give myself guidance.
Okay.
And what is that? Investigation?
Yeah. I'll make you roll for individually for both. All right. That'll be the
was
guard.
for the guard, and ba-da-da. And that was for Lemoyne, and then guidance is what? 1d4?
Yeah.
That was for the guard, and that was for Lemoyne.
Okay. Are you taking Lemoyne's sword from him? Oh, you already have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As you search the guard, who is again much more timid than Lemoyne is, and very willing to work with you in whatever way possible, there wouldn't be anything notable. There's a bit of like dried meat in one of his pockets that is really the only thing of note that you can find, because he disarmed himself before even being caught up by Thor and Valorant. As you search Florent, you would find a key. You don't know what to, and like the interior of his little like surcoat that he wears. There still is the scabbard or the sheath for his sword, but empty, obviously. But besides that, there's like a small coin purse on his belt, but there's nothing, I don't know, standoutish that you would find besides that.
Anything in the
Grab.
coin purse other than coins?
If you kind of like poke in there, like swirl the coins around, it would appear just to be coins.
I'll leave the coins with him. I'll give the meat back to the guard, and holding the key, I'll say, this wasn't to that chest that poked me, was it?
No, that's for the sewer.
Thank you. And I'll keep that.
Clay will take the scabbard.
Okay.
Pray for our safe and quick return.
Mm-hmm.
And then Clay, anything else?
Oh yes, enjoy the spoils of your life choices, and he'll gesture to the rotting corpses around them.
All right. Valorant, are you doing anything during this time as they're away?
No, just gonna carry the chest from Barbet's office down to the grounds and just kind of set it somewhere and say to Belgrease, keep an eye on this, would you?
All right.
And
Yeah.
the last thing, did we search Barbet?
No.
So in whatever time frame you want to allow it, I'll ask Clay if he wants to help me search Barbet real quick too. It's the only other thing I can think of before.
Yeah, Clay will provide help, action, and guidance if you're not going to guide yourself.
I think I'm enjoying guiding myself. It's kind of empowering to be able to use these.
We have to have the
I do
guidance
try to-
discussion again.
To guide, I like to guide myself at least once daily.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Yeah, it's been a while.
Your prostate.
I remember, okay, reading through it, you, as it's written, you can give yourself guidance, but is this a house rule that we determined you can't?
We discussed way back when we had Rolly and guidance at the beginning of the campaign to like start limiting it to some reasonable amount per day, like 4 or 5 a day, so you're not just like constantly using it all the time. We can discuss that further since it's now a much more pressing topic, but for now, don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. So, investigation on Barbet with advantage. There's a 9.
Oof.
And yeah, I'm not very good at this today. And
It's the poison.
so it's a 10.
Oof, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. Digging through Barbet's corpse, which is almost kind of difficult to search due to how like shriveled and frail, like his body's almost kind of like curled in on itself, so you have to like start peeling his limbs away to actually get into his coat and his pockets. You would find his signet ring on his hand, which is kind of a given, which is something of somewhat notable value or use. Besides that, he has a rather elegant coat on. Its fur line. It's very nice for, obviously his role or his title in life. Besides that, it appears that he was just kind of casually existing. Like he wasn't in the process of anything. He had like a letter stuffed in his jacket. He didn't have like an item in his hand except for the eye that had been retrieved by Valorant. So that would really be the only thing that you find.
I'll pop the ring on my finger and I'll ask Clay if he'd like a comfortable coat.
I guess we'll see if Clay walks out with an oversized coat here in a bit. But Thor, you are stood at the gatehouse, for lack of a better term, that's on the interior bailey. You can see the exterior wall that's like outside this area, and you would see the gate to that wall is open, just kind of left wide because everyone had been fleeing out of it. So you're just kind of stood watching the exterior courtyard, just waiting as the rain begins to start building up. The small roof that you're under is just being like plastered with like constant heavy raindrops, more thunder rolling by.
So I'll take this. I assume I'll have enough time for a short rest, probably not a long rest.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'll just take this time to like use the rain as like white noise. Kind of just focus my thoughts. I guess talking, praying, talking to dog. Telling him like, I know, we all know what's gonna happen, and I'm just hoping you can help me do what I need to do.
So, Thor, as you're finally alone for the first time in a while, I mean, you were alone earlier this night, but this is after the events of what has taken place. It is a very useful moment to just be isolated, to not have thoughts and opinion and voices and problems all around you. You are just kind of left alone in this island, this dry island in the middle of this growing storm. And as you reach out, almost using the white noise of the rain as a backdrop or a source of calm to facilitate you reaching out to these various powers that you have come in contact with, you would start hearing this almost kind of conflicted conversation going on in the back of your mind. At first, it's so muffled and distant and overpowered by the rain that you don't hear it. You just like have the sense that it is occurring in the back of your mind. But it begins to grow and become clearer and louder. And it would be the duality of Jarek's voice in your left ear and Naturane's voice in your right ear. And it would first cut in the first like sentence that you understand would be Jarek. Thor, there is much bigger things at stake. You don't have to kill him. No, you don't. There are. Torodan is returning. Your fate is determined for much greater. Kill him. Thor. You don't have to kill him. Shut up. Kill him. And that would be the conversation that you are currently in the center of.
I guess I would just be like, guys, girl, guys. It's gonna be okay. I will make the decision. I understand there's a lot going on. And I have a lot of very personal things that tie into this, but I think I'm done killing today.
You would feel the eye tattoo that you have begin to like grow with this pleasant, like satisfied warmth. But then you would feel your muscles almost like reflexively tightening as your body is now the battleground of these two strange beings that you have let enter your life and your soul to some regard. But you would hear Jarek's distant voice kind of come back over the white noise of the rain and the distant whispering of Naturane. Like, Thor, if the Dark Prince returns, it doesn't matter who leads the Rockhammer clan. It doesn't matter who wields the hammer. All we need is the hammer so that we can stop the Dark Prince, and then we can worry about these things later. If you need to kill him, then fine. But you don't need to kill him. And then Naturane would almost like jut in, cutting him off before he can finish speaking. Thor, my lovely child, you will display your strength and wield the power I have given you. I want you to stain the soiled ground with his blood and claim that disgusting relic for your own.
Don't worry, guys, girl. I thank you for both of your gifts. Naturane, of course I'm gonna use it. I mean, come on. It's great. But I don't think I want to kill him this time. But there will be much time that we need to kill people. So we'll kill people, don't worry. But dog, I understand. But I can't leave the clan in his rule. So although the world is at stake, I have to watch out for my people.
Thor, I'm your people. You're not even a
you're
Goliath.
Right. What? I am a... What? Ow. Okay. Hurtful. Very hurtful.
I mean, you've met your father. You know that you're not a full Goliath. And you're short.
What? Hey! You know what? Maybe I will kill him. Just to spite you.
Thor, my son. Goliaths are not you. You are not a Goliath because Goliaths are violent and uncontrollable and destructive. You are so much more than that. You don't need this burden.
But maybe we are that way. But I changed. Kind of. I feel like they just don't know any other way. So maybe we can teach them another way. No. Maybe one. Maybe. Probably not.
It is your destiny, Thor. There's bigger things to focus on, and that's not a pun.
But it's such a good pun. I know. Let me think. Why do you sound so evil?
Evil is not what I desire. It is the natural beauty of violence.
I can respect it. Just maybe go a little less harsh on the voice.
I'll consider it.
All right. Are we ready?
Is anyone else doing anything currently? Real quick. All right. As you say, oh, yes?
Can Clay be set up there on the battlements?
Yeah, I was going to ask you all if you wanted to be on the second level or the first level where you ever want to position yourself for the upcoming whatever. This would be the time to kind of figure that out. Thor, I imagine you are stood at the gatehouse, like up on the wall, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like sitting. I hope there's a chair there. If not, I guess I'll go walk and get one and bring it back.
There's a stool next to like a little winch that raises and lowers the portcullis. So
I'll just take the stool and sit it so that I can look out at like the gate and the horizon.
Okay.
Is that a ballista?
Yes.
Clay's gonna hop in that bad one.
They are not set up to be turned fully around, so it would be difficult to aim them down to the courtyard. They're aimed towards that exterior courtyard.
Clay will not set up in the ballista.
I mean, it would be a funny image. So we're going to function on this left side of the map just to make things easier. But just understand that anyone in the courtyard is down below you instead of being on the same level as you. All right.
Cool.
Okay. So Thor, as you stand in your position and kind of come to terms with the duality going on inside of you, as the rain continues to fall, and it makes picking this sound out difficult due to the noise, you hear this very distant but quickly growing symphony of metal, this distinct, heavy, marching noise, and it is like the sound of thousands of blades or pieces of metal being dropped and picked back up, this thump, 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 and growing louder and louder and louder until eventually, as you're staring at the exterior gate, you would see the large figure of Kuztar, which it's kind of somewhat obscured at this distance with the rain, with the fog kind of coming in, but you can easily spot him by his size. He no longer wears the tattered armor that you'd seen him in last, where there was the very janky symbol of the Rockhammer clan kind of plastered onto his scrap. He is now drenched, is almost the appropriate term, in Pruidian armor. There are Legionnaire chest piece and shields and helmets and any sort of metal armor that you can find has been strapped to his figure, and he is a walking metal man. The only reason you recognize him is his helmet is open face, and you can clearly see that scarred and battle-worn feature that you had seen so often. Also, his height is rather recognizable. He's also wielding the hammer, which kind of gives that away as well, and the mace for a hand. So yes, this figure stomps into the open courtyard. You can see him looking around, slightly confused, because obviously the transaction he's used to is seeing the guards, them opening the gate and walking in, versus the castle being empty and walking in himself. But as he steps in, and he still hasn't spotted you yet, still kind of looking around, first the actual, like, low part of the courtyard, and then up at the walls. A whole string of Goliath warriors follow, and much similar to himself, where last you had seen this Goliath band dressed in, whatever scraps they had, or bits of armor that they'd handed down from one generation to the next, they're all just covered in armor. And, again, very Pruid-style armor, Legionnaire equipment, and, that kind of aesthetic. But they're all very well armored. They have fresh, glistening steel weapons versus the crude kind of spears and rusted equipment they had when last you had interacted with them. A lot of them wear full helmets. Like, some you wouldn't even be able to tell are Goliaths, except for their size, due to how decked out they are, for lack of a better term. But eventually, around 30 Goliaths would follow Kuztar in. And as Kuztar is heading towards the portcullis that you're standing above, he finally looks up and catches your eye. You see his head kind of cocked to the side. He doesn't recognize you yet due to the distance. He just kind of like, "Who are you?"
I'll just kind of stand up off my stool, hold my arms out like this. What, you don't recognize me?
"You're not dead."
Not yet.
"We'll fix that out." And then he starts like storming through the portcullis.
Welcome to my new castle. Please make yourself at home.
So you would all watch, unless otherwise, a massive gang of Goliaths come walking into this courtyard. They're all kind of looking around somewhat suspiciously, but confidently following their leader. A couple of them would spot Thor on the way in, a few of them kind of tilting their heads and then getting a little bit of recognition. But eventually Kuztar, who's like leading the pack, would get everybody in, kind of look around, look back up at you, Thor, be like, "Are you coming down?"
Yeah. Right. Hold on. And I'll just like jump down.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I am organizing a band of Goliaths. Much easier said than done. Alright.
So I guess I will kind of just... Also, did I get the opportunity to, like, short rest?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I just had to heal once.
Okay.
Then I'm up to full. So I just want to make sure I can do that.
As you go inside the wall and down the staircase and step out into the rain, the water kind of stinging your skin as the moon is obscured by the dark, heavy clouds, another crack of lightning, and then a roll of thunder across the courtyard. You find yourself face to face with Kuztar, who is beaming beneath the helmet that he wears, some of the water kind of like trickling down across his face as he just like stares at you with this almost excited intent, and he would aim his like mace hand over you, kind of gesturing at you from across a small space. "I left you to die up on the mountains, Thor."
Yeah, well, it's hard to take a Goliath down.
"Ah, but you're not a Goliath, are you, Thor?"
No. No, I'm not. Something a little more dangerous now.
"Forgive me if I don't believe you." Oh, fun fact, by the way, make sure this is clear. This is all in Giant. So.
Cool. Well, you see, after you beat me, scarred me, left me to die, I found something.
A cock!
Yeah. Yeah, that. That's definitely what I found at the top of a mountain.
That explains a lot.
Yep. I found purpose, Kuztar.
He kind of like looks around at the Goliaths gathered. You can see that he is thoroughly enjoying this. This has been a very pleasant surprise for him. There's a few kind of like low chuckling rolls from the people gathered, and he like brings his mace down and like rests it against his wrist, kind of rolling it back and forth idly, like, "Purpose, purpose, Thor. You really aren't a Goliath, because Goliath's purpose is death and combat.
No, that's your purpose. But I've found so much more by actually, exploring, not just killing everyone that I see because I feel like it. All those things that make you feel so, ooh, have those butterflies inside. Oh, hey, Gorge, what's up? So, yeah, I've been wandering, trying to find what I am meant for. And for some reason, it led me right back to you.
Well, let's end that cycle then.
I agree. The cycle will end today one way or another. But I see you got some new shiny things.
I've been doing quite well for myself, Thor.
Yeah, it doesn't look like these people's stuff.
We've found some new lands to enjoy.
Oh yeah? I heard about that. And I said, Kuzdar's probably doing that. But I hear you're working for a man now.
I work for no one. It's my brilliance. I lead the clan so that we can thrive.
It's not what he told me.
Well, we all know that humans are liars.
Well, now your new master is one of your new masters is a dead liar.
I serve no master, Thor.
That may change. So, are you ready? I don't know. You look a little scared.
Ready for what?
I'm here for my trial.
You're here for your Rockshaw. Are you joking?
No.
At least you're funny.
I do think I'm pretty funny. But, no. I am here because you have denied me this way too many times. And although you think, oh, he went off and did nothing, no. I've been into the belly of a dragon. I've met gods. I've been on different planes of existence, and you don't even know what that is. I've met heroes, met villains, one who you work for. I've done so much that literally none of you have done. And you call yourself worthy of this trial.
I have done one thing that you will never do, Thor. That is serve this clan.
I did try multiple times. And I just kept hearing, no, no, no. That's like the only word you ever knew.
Do you know what a Goliath does when he hears no, Thor?
Yes.
Then do it.
Either way, one of us is probably going to die today. And you'll see my finger kind of like, what is it, that standoff, Mexican standoff?
Yeah.
Or like the fingers flick? Yeah, so if you were to notice, like if you had high enough perception, I imagine you would see like the claws come out ever so slightly just for a second. And I mean, are we initiating combat?
I guess so, but we'll go ahead and take our 10-minute break there. So Thor, as you step forward, again, the rain kind of washing over your body as you start amping yourself up. Roll me initiative, by the way. As you start amping yourself up, you feel this various bits of... Okay, it's going to be party Thor, then Kustar. As you feel these bits of assistance or spiritual connection to your comrades, you feel that platinum ring that has been around your finger for so long begin to warm and grow and almost kind of like wash around your skin. It just like rotates ever so slightly by itself. You step forward to face this mountain of a Goliath, this wall of metal basically that is now arms out wide, grinning from ear to ear, staring down at you with this eager ferocity. As now this would be the party's turn to do anything during the first round of combat if need be, but if not, Thor, you would have the initiative, sir. Alright, Thor.
Okay. I was gonna say, I assume we're doing nothing. So I assume I already have all these like buffs and stuff on
Yeah.
me. Okay. So for my action, I would like to attempt to cast Guiding Bolt. So I'll just kind of say, let me show you what I have learned, and I'll like laser beams come out of my eye
Okay.
as I
Orlando.
So it's just a hit, and then I add a +4, a D4, right?
Yeah, for bless, 1d4.
Okay, so 21, and then anything
Miss.
else?
I think that's all you got
missing?
for attacks, yeah.
Okay.
So you let loose this blast of light, the two beams coming out of your eyes, and then swirling before striking Kustar in the chest. You see it impact the armor. Go ahead and roll me damage, by the way.
I didn't know if it hit.
Yeah, the glittering residue of it kind of glowing across this blank piece of metal. And you see him look down at it and then look up at you and just kind of like twist his face and sneer a bit.
You're fucking kidding me. I rolled 4 1s. Alright, well, as my bonus action, I would like to rage, as you do. And I will step 5 feet closer and just say, what are you waiting for?
He kind of like looks down at the glittering residue on his chest. Seems to be right. You'll see that I haven't been idle either. And then he starts basically just trundling towards you. And as he moves, it's like listening to a bag of cans being shaked violently at your ear. It's just this like thrashing and scraping of metal as he just starts barreling across the small space. And he would go ahead and step up to you. What is your AC with the bonus? Is it 16? 18? Because that's the necklace and the ring?
Yes. It's
Okay.
15 plus 2 plus 1.
Okay.
So 18.
18, gotcha. Natural 20.
It's okay.
Wow. Okay. Good start. Give me a moment. All right. And you are raging, correct, sir?
I definitely am. I am 100%.
Okay, so in total, you are taking 15 points of damage. That's resisted. Okay, so that'd be 11.
And then -7
Okay,
because it's a D12 plus 3.
gotcha. Okay. So he races forward, and he has the hammer in one hand and his mace jutting out of his arm in the other. And as you are looking down, like trying to catch which weapon is coming first, you feel the mace impact into your side. As you're kind of like cinching from that impact, the hammer comes around and claps you in the shoulder. It's like you're being struck again and again, the mace whirling around, hitting you a third time as you are just being bombarded by these quick, like strangely quick attacks from this massive, impossible being. Go ahead and give me a strength saving throw.
Okay. which I don't have advantage on. No, I don't. I just have a straight roll.
You do Okay.
Plus 1.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay.
Plus a D4.
As he comes at you and all these attacks are landing, you hear that shift of metal, and it's enough for you to kind of like realize that something's wrong. You look down and you see his leg is kind of like stepping past yours and getting behind you, and it then suddenly tries to like jerk back to pull your leg out from under you. But as you feel the back of your calf hit his thigh and the metal collide for a moment, you like hold your grip, you hold your stance. He almost kind of like struggles, both of you like slamming your legs against each other before he yanks his leg back to get proper footing and kind of squares off with you again. It'll be back to your turn, sir.
Is the party not doing it?
I told them if they want to interrupt, that's when they would interrupt.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, then I will. I'll just kind of like wince and be like, "Oh, yep, I remember that." Oh. And I will have my pickaxe in my hand, and I will strike at him with advantage because I have my guiding bolt that hit him.
Okay.
So I assume that hits.
What are your bonuses to that?
I have a D4 to...
Go ahead and roll that. Okay. That would hit.
Okay. So that's 10 damage. And then I have a second attack.
So roll your bonuses for that.
15.
That would be a miss.
Figured. And I don't have much in the way of bonus actions, so that is the majority of my turn. Just swinging twice at him.
So as he steps back and you feel that first surge of pain coming from him, you lash out with the pickaxe and you feel your first impact hit and strike, glancing across his armor. It's clear that you're hitting him, but there's just so much metal that like there's no way you're feasibly getting to his flesh with your first strike. And as you swing back for a second one, he almost kind of like gloats a little bit. He presses his chest out and watches as your kind of wide swing just kind of claps against the metal, this loud ringing going out into the rain, and he just kind of like chuckles and leans back at you. Just to be clear, because that was a little bit confusing potentially, he's not taking resisted damage. It's just you are hitting, but you're not like ripping his limbs off. You're just beating his armor for the beginning half. So anyway, but yeah, he would take that second blow across the chest with no visible damage, and then just sneer at you again, and then bombard you once more. Let's see. Yep. That is a miss. That is a hit. And that is a hit. Damn, Kustar. You a G. Okay. You would take 9 points of damage, sir. So this time, as he steps back and gloats ever so slightly, he rushes forward, hitting you in the leg that you had just kind of won out with the hammer, kind of like making you just bend ever so slightly before the mace comes and like punches you in the gut. And there's no armor for him to get through, so he's just like beating on you like a punching bag, basically, just trying to get whatever blow he can. Just visible glee on his face as he continues to land blows. Be back to your turn, sir.
Yeah, I will just keep doing the do. Okay. 2 attacks with the pickaxe.
Okay.
I'll roll d4s for both of those.
So
that is 24 and 27.
As you go to swing your first attack, and you feel like it's going to strike true, you see the arc of your pickaxe going towards his chest. His mace shifts to the side, and he deflects it and parries your blow wide. And then your second swing coming back around to strike, and your second blow would hit.
That's 8 damage.
Alright.
Rolled 5 ones so far.
So he smacks your first blow out of the way, and then feels the second one like hit the shoulder pauldron that he's wearing, and then again scrape across the metal, the courtyard filling with this like It's like this like nasty, jagged scraping noise. You pull your weapon away, and it's just back and forth, and he rushes at you again. Go ahead and roll me a strength saving throw, sir. And then, what? Okay.
I think I have bless doesn't
Yep.
bless.
Bless
also,
gives you a 1d4, yeah, for saving throws.
So 22.
Okay. As he comes back at you again, you take 4 damage, by the way. He only lands 1 blow this time. As you're starting to kind of like learn his process and see the attacks coming, he would try yet again to wrap the end of the hammer around your knee to yank you off balance, but you kind of skirt your leg to the side as he just has nothing to pull on. And we're back to your turn, sir. Yes.
Clay would actually at this point throw a healing spirit onto Valoran.
Okay.
Did that roll healing?
Yep.
Okay. Take 4 healing this turn.
Yeah, I guess, Valoran, what does it look like to be struck through the power of the ring?
So, I've been trying to mask it as just I'm wincing for Thor's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sympathy pain. But that first round of hits, especially like the crit, it's very much like someone being defibrillated.
Uh-huh.
Ugh. So
It's a nice shock into the first time we use this.
Yep. All right.
And then he would also wild shape into his chalice star form
Okay.
to give an extra 1d8 4 to Valoran.
You would start getting some like weird side glance from the Goliaths like right next to you, like just unsure of what the hell you guys are and what this glowing creature is and why one of you is just kind of like moaning strangely at the end of the lineup, and just you're getting a few kind of weird glances from the Goliaths right beside you.
Keep them on their toes. Okay.
And then Thor, back to you, sir.
Yeah, so I'll just try to keep directing that pickaxe into like any weak spots in the armor that I see, any nook and cranny I can find.
Hey, there you go.
Okay, well, let me roll a d4 for that. Does a 33 hit?
Jesus.
always do.
Yeah, that would hit. The second attack, he would parry.
Okay. Well, let's just roll that damage. Okay, so we rolled a 5, so that's 10. So 15 plus 2 is 17.
Okay. That's all you got, right?
Yes, just the 2 attacks.
Since you had the critical hit, where do you want that hit to land?
I'll try to get it into like his side. So there's like, because you know when you move in armor, it's like uncomfortable here when you're moving. It could cause a little bit of pain. So like trying to throw off like the way that he moves. So I want to dig it into the side of his armor and try to like bend it so that it makes it uncomfortable to move.
So as you kind of like lean back ever so slightly, eyeing his figure, trying to find a precise location to drive the pickaxe into, having thus far not gained any real purchase, you kind of do this underhand, almost like tennis racket swing, and the point of your pickaxe, where the plate mail or the segmented armor is kind of laid over each other on the side of his torso, you find purchase just under one of those metal lips, and you bend one of them just out ever so slightly as you drive the corner of your pickaxe up further. You can feel that you are just like tickling the exterior of one of his ribs beneath his skin as you see a small trickle of blood coming out of the kind of ruined or warped hole that you've created, and then you wrench the pickaxe out, and for the first time his glee is now this like aggressive, frenzied like malice. Instead of grinning wide, he's just like furiously, like his brows are this like harsh angle as his whole twisted and scarred face kind of contorts, and he begins to actually start getting into the combat.
When I dig my pickaxe in and I like twist the metal, I'll just kind of say, "You've lost your way, Kustar," as I like dig it out.
We've only just begun, Thor. And then he would have rushed at you yet again, sir. That's a miss. That's a hit. And that is a hit. Take 12 points of damage, sir. As yet again, he barrels like the top half of the hammer into your abs, your abdomens, as you like kind of like flex away from the pain, and then the mace comes down and kind of like scrapes across the hard skin of your shoulders, leaving these like thin white trails of ripped up skin as he wrenches it back, and the combat continues. Back to you, sir.
At the top of this round, I'll call out, "You've got him, Thor. He has no pride in that foreign trash like a conscript."
You are muted, sir.
How it?
Not you.
I'd like to,
the other one.
as he's talking, I'll just kind of casually trade places with him and just guide him where I used to stand, Valoran.
Okay.
If you'd move over to
Yeah,
where I'm
alright.
at, so you're a little less obvious to the guy right next to you, and I'll just I'll try to strike up idle conversation with this dude next to me.
Roll me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Enjoy the fight?
I don't speak common.
Yeah.
Like I'll hand gesture and like smile and like punch and like be like, "This is exciting, isn't it?" You know.
As you kind of like shoulder up to this Goliath that is almost like 2 or 3 feet taller than you. You kind of bump his hand with your elbow. He kind of like glances down at you with this like scraping metal as his own armor has to shift to accommodate his gaze. And you're just like, and he just, and then kind of looks back at the fight.
How's Valorant looking?
I am not yet bloodied.
Yeah, I'm also not yet bloodied.
And at this point, like
As a
those
bonus action, I'd I guess flavor it however we need to, but I'll cast Healing Word on Valorant.
Okay.
Is it my turn now? Are we good?
Did Valorant, you have one more thing, sir?
I mutter to Decker, and Clay, "Thank you, but save your energy. I'll let you know when." And then I actually just reach up to run my hand through my hair and lay on hands on myself.
Alright. Alrighty, Thor.
All right. Now's as good a time as any. So I'll probably just like, after I landed that solid hit, I will just kind of enraged, just like throw my pickaxe like just off to the side against a wall. Don't really care. I'll just be like, "It's time to show you my destiny." And then as I say that, you probably get a little of Naturaine in my voice, as my eyes and my hands start glowing red, and I turn into the primal rage form of myself. And I will recklessly attack him. Do not get a bug. Okay, so these are all unarmed strikes.
Yep, with advantage. With your bonuses.
2, 3, 4.
Alright. Let's just roll 1d4 and apply it to all, versus rolling 1d4 for everything.
Okay, so 25, 28, 22, 27.
Okay. That's the only bonuses, right?
I
Yes.
think so.
So actually, no. Go ahead and those will all hit. Yeah.
Okay. So, jeez. Okay, so I have to roll 4d8 plus 40. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me just roll. Oh, jeez. Let me roll 3 more. My bad.
All right.
So 14, 22.
Plus 40, so 62.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will just start to, well, one, I'll start to like dig at that one piece where I broke part of his armor off. But I will basically, I'm not even like trying to claw through. I'm just trying to rip off his armor. And can I speak while I'm doing this? I can't remember.
No, you're supposed to be incoherent.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So as you start going into this bloody rage, all of the various problems around you slipping away as you are solely focused on Kusar in front of you, you start descending on him with these vicious strikes, your hands grabbing at any purchase it can find, scraping against the metal, diving beneath it in some places, as you feel his blood freshly prickling onto your nails as you get beneath the armor and you deal damage. You find your fingers diving under that hole you created, digging into his flesh. You can feel a bit of his like interior muscle on your fingertips, and as you do, he lets out this kind of like and then he meets eyes with you, and then you see that smile return, and he stones endurances, and he reduces that by 17, and he just kind of and then takes that damage.
In 17 minus 62 minus 17.
Yeah, it was still a very good hit, but he blunted at least a little bit of it, so.
Well, that's only the first hit, baby.
Alrighty, and then he is going to go at you again, sir.
Yep, all advantage.
Oh, it is. Okay, well, that first one's a hit. Second one's a hit.
Sorry, Valoran.
Ooh, third one is a crit. Give me a strength saving throw, sir.
With lay on hands, you'll go down before I do.
What is your total? Then you got something was giving you a bonus to saves. Oh, you have a +1 from the ring.
Yeah, +1, so +2, +5, so 18.
All right. Alright, well, that sucks, but that's fine. You are taking, it's half damage, so you're taking 8 points of damage. And
nice. Good hits.
As you feel yourself, like, lashing out at this beast in front of you, trying to rip the metal from his figure, you're less focused on other parts of his body as you feel your fingers digging and still kind of holding that grip as he snakes his leg behind you yet again, and this time he is spurred by the pain and the aggression in his own body to wrench his leg forward, and it sends you tumbling backwards, forcing you prone onto the ground, and you're going to take, I don't have a d4, fantastic, thought I had one out, a whopping 2 points of damage, sir, but you would find yourself flat on the ground.
Okay.
Your turn, sir.
So, I mean, we're just doing the same thing again, baby. All reckless, all...
I'm assuming you're standing up.
Yeah, I am standing up.
Yeah.
Now, there is like a stipulation to that where I was going to flavor it, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
You're good.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'll just roll 1d4.
So that fourth one is a 20? 19.
Just a 19.
Okay, that would miss.
Okay.
But
so
you have a crit and 2 hits.
Yeah, so 3d8, right? 3d10 plus.
Yes, I would roll the first d10 by itself so you can figure out the crit damage. Ooh.
2. Yeah.
Okay.
So then I'll just roll the other 2.
Okay.
So that is
12 plus 30, so
13.
42.
33. Because the 1 doubles to a 2.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Okay. Alrighty. Did you want to flavor that, sir, as you mentioned?
Yeah, so basically it's just kind of like getting up. I'm just kind of sinking my hands into him and just pulling myself up that way. And that's how I'm doing my damage. It's just by like getting up and clawing at him and digging into him, pulling myself up.
As you start basically climbing this mountain of a man again, or I guess man, Goliath, however you want to use that interchangeably, you start like, first you rip the protection off of his kneecap, the actual leather strap that was holding it snapping and buckling as you throw the discarded piece of metal out into the rain. You then get a little bit higher, and you feel your left hand sinking into the inside of his thigh, and you start ripping down the first half of the armor of his leg, and you actually like expose a little bit of flesh as you scrape your nails or your talons against his skin, leaving these 3 distinct red slashes across the surface of it, and you eventually grab his chest, sending his nails through the armor and fully standing up in front of him as you just have this red, bloody, monstrous intent about you as you deal your damage, sir.
Yeah. That ends my turn.
Okay. As you get face to face with him again, he actually takes a moment. He's not going to step like a whole 5 feet away, but he places the hammer against your chest and like shoves you back enough to create just a little bit of distance. And you see this thin trickle of blood start to like escape from his mouth. You see the lines in his flesh distinctly showing against his gray skin. And he just creates enough distance to stare at you again. And you see his form like swell up. You see the armor that is clutched around his muscles and his physique begin to like stretch to their limits. You hear this almost like groaning noise as the armor tries to pop off of him, and then all of that swelling suddenly like shrinks into him as he goes like, and then all of the injuries that you have so far dealt begin to heal ever so slightly. The claw marks on his skin become less noticeable. The blood that was kind of pouring from his side begins to stop flowing. He like sucks some of the blood back into his mouth as he wipes away the residue, and he heals for an undisclosed amount of health with a second wind, and then goes and tries to hit you, though he only has 1 attack this round, so... And it's I have to roll with advantage. But yeah, he rolled a crit on the first one. This is probably the most crits I think I have ever rolled. But he doesn't roll high damage
during these fights.
Okay. So that would be 14 plus 11 points of damage, as he basically just Hail Mary throws his mace through the air, and it just lands on the top of your skull. Your whole spine kind of compressed for a moment as you like take the blow, and you feel this surge of pain, but it quickly vanishes beneath the ferocity in your body, and you just stand back tall to keep fighting.
Yep. And who are you healing?
You're
Valorant.
Okay.
Okay.
I've only got 1 more of those left.
I would say that I don't know what your healing spirit looks like, but I don't know if it's fully like unobservable. Like if you cast it on Thor, I don't know how we want to rule that.
Oh no, not on Thor.
Yeah.
It's just twinkly lights going around Valorant's head, kind of like the birds whenever you get smacked in a cartoon, imparting upon him the healing light of heavens above. But yes.
So Thor, your turn.
Yep. So since he kind of shoved me back, I guess I'm just like kind of like this. So I'll just like kind of, I guess, Naruto run into him and just push my claws forward. Again, I mean, same thing. reckless, unarmed. That's all I got.
Go for it, sir. And now it is D12s. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So the first one probably won't hit, but
Yeah, first one misses.
26 and 27
get-
and a 22.
A crit, a hit, and he's going to parry that last one.
Okay. So then it's 2 plus 10, and then 11 plus 10, so
It's
20.
Tragic.
What is that? 32, 33, 33.
Yeah. All right.
So there's just for those of us in the audience, the exhaustion triggers at the when the rage ends.
After I end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there's a world in which you rip Kustar to shreds and then
Die.
drop dead next to him.
Yes.
Does the exhaustion go to Valorant?
No.
No.
I'm not going to transfer that.
It's about to be that world. We're 3 rounds in, and he's still not even bloodied.
Oh, I should have started marking him as bloodied. He was bloodied when he used healing or the second wind to be not bloody. So this damage would actually put him back into bloody. I'll go
Even
and do
still,
that.
we only have one more round, and then that's it.
Alrighty. Yeah, so it's back to his turn. And he is just going to come at you with advantage. I always forget. Those both, that's a miss. That's a miss. Wow, dude, come on. Okay, that's a hit. Okay, just a regular hit. Which ends up being 8 points of damage to you, sir. As he finds purchase with the hammer, kind of hitting your knee, kind of like making you like flinch ever so slightly before you start bearing down at him again.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last round before I die, so I will recklessly attack again.
Okay. Those are
So-
all hits. I'll roll the 1d4.
20, 30, 28, 31, and 24.
Yeah, you get a crit and 3 hits.
Crit and 3 hits. So let's roll this.
That's your.
So that's my crit. I rolled that.
That is your crit.
separately.
Yep.
So
that's 28.
I get all 3 hits, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then this is what, 3 more d20? So 47 plus 28 is
Plus 40, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is I don't even know that math. 87, 100, and
101, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you want to do this, sir?
So, kind of just like with the last inch of my being, I will basically just go all into him. I will start tearing off the armor, tearing off like parts of his skin with it. Like, it does not matter to me.
Mhm.
And then I'd even like to, I mean, for flavor, like literally try to rip his mace out of his arm.
Mhm.
And then for my final blow, I want to come up like this so that all 4 of my fangs, or like not my fangs, but my claws,
Mhm.
are pointed like towards his skull. And then right before they hit, I will drop them into a fist and I will just knock him unconscious.
Okay. As you feel this like strange, stringing, distant fatigue attempting to grab onto your muscles, your body is screaming out at you that this is too much, you've gone too far, it's time to stop. The fury that you have been gifted from Naturaine drives you forward. You hear her persistent, whispering, raspy, scrapey voice dragging through your brain as your full focus and attention are into dissecting this man in front of you. You start ripping armor off as all the Goliaths around start jumping and cheering and screaming for blood as you tear off another piece of armor. One of the Goliaths like catching it and clutching it victoriously in the air as a loud crack of lightning and thunder comes rippling across the courtyard. You strike again, basically ripping the front of his torso, the armor off, with a huge chunk of his like lower section missing, and you see some of that excited ferocity begin to leave his eyes as he realizes he's being overwhelmed. And as he's starting to be on the back foot, one of your hands comes down and you like start at the elbow and then wrench your fingernails, your talons down until you feel the end of the mace on the inside of his arm, and you just rip it straight from his flesh, years of it growing around this twisted bit of metal now wrenched free in a single blow. And as he's like fallen down to a knee and he's starting to stumble backwards, you land that last punch, lifting him back up off the ground ever so slightly, the armor clattering like this tinkering wind chime before he lands flat on his back, the hammer he was wielding falling into a puddle a few feet away as he is left kind of staring up, his head swimming, his vision swimming. You see that he is quickly heading towards unconsciousness, but his eyes find you for a moment. There's almost this kind of look of panic and then kind of acceptance, and just ever so slightly, so slight and minuscule that only you are close enough to really like witness this and see it. You see his one good hand that was holding the hammer, like the fingers begin to crawl towards the hammer, trying to get to it before he passes out. He gets like 80% of the way there before his body gives out. His blood begins to mix with the water and spread across the cobblestone, and his eyes roll into the back of his head, and he passes out, almost reaching the hammer.
Yep, and it is at that point that I will drop my rage, because I don't want to... Oh, well, I could have gone another round. Never mind. Thought 5 was death. 6 is actually death. But I will drop my rage, and I will just kind of like try to just breathe for a second after, you know, being so long in this form. I haven't been in this form for so long, or like this long ever since I got it. So just like trying to, and then I will slowly walk over, like kind of just like a broken, beaten man, just walk over to Kustar and the hammer, and I will just scoop up the hammer and just hold it up high.
You would hear a collection of shouting and cheering and clapping and celebration as this glorious display of combat and violence plays out. Kustar, very, very broken and defeated, laying in the rain, laying in the mud, his body quickly just like falling to pieces as you hold the hammer aloft.
And I will just like shout out in not Goliath, Giant. You are my people. And that is what else I got nothing else at the current moment.
As you hold the hammer up, you can like feel your arm like shaking, like it's an effort to like keep it up as like it's like almost shaking loose out of your grasp, and you hold it up like just long enough for all of them to keep like cheering and berating, realizing that the combat's over. The circle of Goliaths start like closing in around you, and you feel like pats and claps and grabs and shakes and like just like a bunch, like a whole circus of hands just kind of grabbing all over you. Eventually you kind of like dropping the hammer as your ears and your vision and all of your senses are just filled with like celebration, basically.
I guess I'll just kind of embrace it.
I also am cheering.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, I'll look over at the Goliath that I was standing next to and just go ape shit with hand gestures and I'm gonna give him a hug.
All right. But yeah, the party would find yourself kind of on the outside looking in for the moment as Thor is swallowed by metal Goliaths. And then there's just more cheering, but Clay, Decker, and Valor, and you would be stood beneath the portcullis that's wide open, watching this scene play out for the moment.
Clay will send his twinkly headlights over to Thor real quick and impart upon him a smidgen of respite.
I will definitely take it. Though it doesn't help with the tiredness.
So, Thor, as you find yourself in this grouping, it lasts for maybe 5-10 seconds of everyone kind of really amping up the moment before the party and you begin to witness some of the Goliaths on the edge of this grouping or this gathering start heading for the various doors of the castle, like going inside, going for the main door, going to the door to the west, just like already going for the building.
Are they gonna burn the place down? I hope not.
I don't want to interfere in their celebration.
It's stone. It probably won't burn long.
They're also tired. I'm so tired.
Yeah,
And I haven't quite worked out exactly where we go from here, but Northwatch falling to barbarian attack before we arrive to save it is not the worst story that we could share with the kingdom.
And Thor, to be, you're not with the party right now. You're still surrounded by people.
Yeah. Is there a second in command for Kuztar?
Not that you're aware of. You would recognize Gorge, who's kind of right in front of you, kind of shaking you. You can only see half of his face because the majority of it's covered up in full metal armor, but you see some eyes poking out that you can recognize the color of.
Just kind of hold my hands out, try to disperse them a little bit, and just say, my brothers, we have a lot to discuss, but please, I am sure you are tired, and I am tired.
Tired? No! No, we're alive, Thor! It's time to take!
I'll just... How many people are around me versus, how far am I away from the party at this current moment?
There's probably 10 or 15 of them right directly around you. I mean, they're giving you space to kind of exist now, and the party's still about 15-20 feet from you.
Okay. I didn't think I'd make it to this point.
Like a dog that caught his tail.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Take what you want from here, but don't break too much, okay? Because we have to sell the story a little bit.
What story, Thor?
Oh my gosh, there's so much Gorge that you don't know. Kustar has been in the shade for a while.
Why is he in the shade?
Well, there's a lot of stuff he doesn't know. Okay? Okay. Yeah, just don't break too much stuff. Please. And don't kill anybody. I come after you next.
Okay. I will point out that did not get heard by the first wave that ran inside.
Yeah. I'm assuming they disperse.
Yeah, at this point, once you kind of give them the go-ahead with the suggestion not to break too much, they would all start darting for the interior. And then you would just hear thunderous footsteps, clashing of metal, they're just running all over the place. It's not that they're just ripping everything down, but they themselves are this monstrous being stomping around
Yeah.
this building. So yeah.
I would just like after they disperse, I would turn back to Valorant and all of them. They're gonna loot the place. I tried to tell them not to kill anybody or.
As far as looting, it's no skin off my back.
But we did get that chest though, right? I assume we have that.
Yeah, I think
somewhere.
Valorant still has that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
Door.
certainly hope the locked door holds.
Is that 21? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Valorant. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm all right, actually, all things considered. Between the three of us, there was some patching up going on.
Yeah,
It was extraordinary. I
honestly,
felt every hit.
yeah. You know my pain. You know my pain.
Completely literally. But I never doubted, Thor. You did it.
I definitely did for a second.
As you all are conversing, Thor, I guess, and the party, you would hear behind you this, and you would glance over, and it appears that Kustar has spurred himself back to a very meager life as he is laying broken on the ground, his hands kind of still inflexively reaching for the hammer that's no longer there, and you would see as just endless pools of blood are kind of dripping from his mouth and the various wounds covering him. He meets your gaze, Thor, and he kind of like tries to lift his head before it slams back into the mud, and he's just left kind of raggedly breathing.
I would
Is
just
it official if he's not dead?
I don't know.
I mean,
Again,
all
never-
you do have to technically defeat him.
Yeah, but that I don't have to kill him. It doesn't say that implicitly, right?
Yeah, and I don't think Goliaths are picky.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah, he's weak
Not
now.
masters.
think-
I would just look at the party. Well, now I don't know what to do. I honestly didn't know if I'd make it this far.
Well, Thor, just kill him. He's
No,
raiding
I'm not killing
villages.
him.
He's been murdering common people for years.
Clay, all of those Goliaths have been killing people for years. He might yet have some value alive.
He could be led in chains to Queen's Coast.
Or, and I mean, go with me here. He could be an ally. Thor, why don't you talk to him and see if perhaps he would follow you?
Yeah, I was gonna go talk to him. Let me see if he's awake. I'll just kind of go walk over to his hulking, bloodied form that I believe is still awake.
As you step up, towering over him as he lays broken in the wet ground, his eyes kind of like swim a little bit, but they do eventually find you. He lets out another like, and another spittle of blood comes out, but you would hear like a rough voice trying to like struggle through the blood that he has to speak through. Like, I am done, Thor. Send me to the Eternal Mountain.
Oh, Kustar. Why would I do that?
You have proven yourself, Thor. I fought well. You fought well.
Yeah, hey, those little trip tricks, not very fun, by the way. Although, good to know for the future. But, no. You're not dying by my hand. Not today, at least.
Don't want to live with the shame. Do me this last honor, Thor, and kill me.
Honor? Did you kill me the last time we fought?
You were not worth it. Now you are.
Well, I guess I'm glad we view each other the same way.
You are a Goliath now, Thor.
I always have been. Just took you this long and this much blood to see it.
He kind of like lets his head loll a little bit, and he stares at the quickly growing pool of blood around him. And he like looks back up at you, and then just kind of like gives you this slow nod, like,
Please, Thor. Let me die like my ancestors.
Is he speaking in common?
no, he only knows giant.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Alright, Nathan. Let's play a game.
Oh no.
Odds or evens?
We'll do evens.
Here, I'll take a picture of this just so you know.
It's an interesting thing to deal with.
Yep. Alright, we'll save that for later. I'll just kind of slowly shake my head. You're not getting it, Kuztar. I'm giving you the second chance you gave me to go find purpose.
He looks like he wants to argue, but he is quickly losing the energy to do so, and he just kind of like weakly shakes his head.
And if you can't, find someone else who will do you this mercy.
He'd pass out again.
And I'll just slowly walk back to the group.
I'll point out that he's bleeding out.
I
Oh. Well, I was trying to knock him unconscious, not make him bleed out and die.
do I have to wait till he's dead to cast Spare the Dying on him? I suppose I would.
No. I don't think so. I think it's when you're unconscious.
You touch a living creature that has 0 hit points.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that would be him.
So
I
seeing
can't-
that, yeah,
I can't
seeing that Thor is obviously not going to kill him,
Mhm.
I'll walk up next to Thor and look up at Thor, and I'm proud of you, Thor. To this moment, I had only seen you eager to initiate combat, and this is what a man should be. You're right. And you're wrong. You're not a Goliath. The Goliath would have killed him. And I'll reach my hand out, and then the black tendrils from the tattoo will swirl around my arm and just slowly leak out and suffuse burst around the area of Kustar, and he'll be stable at this point.
Okay.
I'll just walk up to, I guess, the group. Oh yeah. Also, he doesn't speak common, so I'm not against taking him places, but I don't know how much use he's gonna be, especially to the queen. I mean, I guess we could say, we got the leader, but I got this as proof. As I wave the hammer around. And I'll go pick up the mace. Shake it like maracas.
But with the hammer, the dwarves are sure to help us, right?
I mean, Rolly should already be working on that cause. Hopefully. But this will at least make them listen a little more.
What if we turned him over to them?
They will kill him. He has far more use alive.
I hear you say that, but what use is that other than fighting power, which was impressive?
Yes, absolutely. Fighting power. He's immense. Let him recover. Give him a chance to reclaim some of his lost honor in our cause.
Thor, give me a quick insight check, sir.
You got it, dude.
Oh, you have disadvantage, don't you?
I have so much against me right now. You have no idea. Hold on, I
Roll
gotta
me.
check.
It'll be insight with advantage, so just roll me straight insight.
Got it, dude.
All right. Now that the events have kind of wound down and you continue hearing this like violent clattering coming from the inside of the keep and the party's discussing this issue, a bit of your knowledge, your memory, your insight into Goliaths kind of starts like rising to the surface. And I want to make this clear that this is not Nathan talking. This is just the god of Asmiliath discussing what Goliaths are. Your band of Goliaths has not functioned in society ever. Like, they've never gone to a town or stayed in a tavern or traveled with people. They are very, very used to the routine of go here, wreck shit, go home. Go here, wreck shit, go home. So, while they are certainly ferocious warriors, and there is certainly a universe in which they could find a new reason to fight for, their entire existence and their ancestors' existence have been built around raiding and not much else. So it's not just going to be a intimidation check and then they just fall in line.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, I
have
was
their
gonna-
leader give them directions, or their former one.
But it's not that simple. Yeah, I was gonna talk to the group about that. I mean, I'll give them that information.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm holding that,
Yeah.
and it's not like they can't observe that just by
Yeah.
seeing.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we go from here. Like, I get that I have this, but what do I do with them? Kind of just want to send them back.
Yes, send them back into the mountains.
What would they become without your leadership in that situation?
Imagine they probably, if I choose not to lead them, they probably, or I guess I could pick a new leader if I really wanted to. They'd probably go back to what they were doing before this.
So we would be unleashing a band of raiding Goliaths on Giles and or folk. I don't think we can accept that.
That's why I
And
said
always was to have them in our vanguard.
yeah, they're just not very great at not destroying everything.
We'll be great at convincing them not to destroy everything. Perhaps remind them that there is a all-encompassing battle coming against foes like they've never seen. They'll be legendary.
I am fairly certain they will take the side where they get to smash the smaller races of humans and gnomes and dwarves, as they have been doing for most of their lives.
They've smashed quite a few men as well. And if you can look at their armor, they have probably dealt with more than just weak bands of gnomes.
I would not. Thor, as far as I'm concerned, Kustar's life belongs to you, and I will not try to tell you what to do with it. But as for the rest of the Goliaths, perhaps they could be sent to join the war against Rojmazev if they cannot travel with our caravan. There would be much to smash.
I guess my only concern there is whatever's in their path. Don't know if they're just gonna stand by, camp beside, farmer Tim over there. Oh look, he's got some bread that I want. We'll just let him have that bread.
If the stakes could be explained to them somehow, if they could be made to understand that if they don't add their strength to this effort, there will be no raiding of anyone. There will be no eternal. There will be no spoils. There will be no where they can live the lifestyle to which they are accustomed.
What about the dwarven highways? Are they not fraught with many perils? Many monsters for them to fight?
They are. There's also that super creepy night thing that I think would kill them all, but could hope they could take it.
Well, if all you want is for them to stay out of the way, I recall in my travels there was a town on the other side of the mountains, I believe, that everyone vanished. Could you not send them there?
Oh,
Why are we speaking of sending away perhaps the most valuable brute force assemblage that we could have hoped for? Didn't you see them?
we have to put them somewhere for
Take them with
safekeeping.
us. Keep them. Guide them. You're their leader now. Lead them.
I don't know that that's as easy as you think it is.
I know it's not easy, goddammit, but it's what you are now.
Up to you, Thor.
Being a leader is not easy, but
And perhaps you could be the one who could show them a different way.
you have only to
You're
ask, and we will provide whatever help we can.
You're the I'll put a hand on Thor and just guide him to, like eye to eye. It's like you're the first leader
Ow.
they've ever had with any humanity. I'm sorry, Thor.
Yeah, it's okay.
But the reason they are what they are is because they're this far removed from being a monster. And they finally have a leader that has humanity, goodness, and you're just going to send them away and look over at Clay. That's wrong.
A group of bandits does not reform into farmers overnight.
Stranger things have happened, and these are strange times. The gods have put us on a path not to be ordinary. Stop thinking so small. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
No, it's fine. Mankind has always taken such an approach.
Low blow, really.
Fine. With Thor, that's... I'll draw him up to his full 3 feet of height. Look, I don't truly care what you do with them, Thor, but something must be done. They cannot be left on their own. If they had the means to overtake any of the Empire's garrisons, then they will take and take and take. Focus them, banish them, whatever it may be. But do not entertain the idea they will sit idly by whatever we do.
And judging by the looks of their current state of dress, they're not used to just being happily occupied by raiding small settlements of no consequence. Thor, you are in a position to give them greater glory. Is that not what they seek?
No, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. That's always what they want. That's
And
what
give it to them.
Just want to die.
This is their chance to fight against gods or godlike beings.
Another point I will throw you, Thor, and I don't think I'm going to make you roll for this one, is this is only half of the clan. There is the women and children back in the mountains you would expect, because that's where they would be, that are waiting for a return.
Guess I also point that out. I mean, I get that we can keep them around, but I mean, I know, they know that at some point they have to go back home, see their families. I mean, these are just the raiding party. They're still children. They're still, I'll point to him, probably his kid is up there.
Who will be grateful for his return.
Will he?
I don't know
Yeah.
that I'm gonna let him return.
Or I am your friend. And the last that I will say on this subject is that in my sincere opinion, they are doomed without you. By one means or another.
All right. I just need to. Well, first of all, oh my gosh, I need to sleep. I'm dozing off just talking about this, but I just need to think. I know I'm not good at it. I'll point to literally any of them.
Before you fall asleep, perhaps you could instruct them that we will be making camp here.
Yeah. I'll tell them. Don't worry, I got it. And then it'll be like little rocky-talkie action, and they'll just pass the word on, and they'll probably just sleep where they slept before, I imagine. I don't know what they've done here, or what they usually do.
Maybe they ate Lemoyne.
Yeah. Oh gosh, where are they? Where are those two, by the way?
We locked them with the corpses in the prison.
Oh, yeah, they probably won't go in there. And if they shout for help, may not. Oh well, might want to go check on them just in case.
I'll go check. Clay, would you join me?
Yeah, chances are all the poisonous fumes have killed them, but we'll see.
Dead bodies, it stinks, but they don't kill, I can guarantee you.
Thor, are you going in as well, sir?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of just like drag Guztar with me. Probably just throw him in. I don't know,
Just
whatever.
face check him
room.
up the stairs, like thump, and toss him
Yep.
inside.
Yep. Make him roll those death saving throws. No. I'll probably just toss him in. Like, what? Yeah, go ahead.
Valor, are you joining? Is the whole party going in? Is what I'm asking.
I am gonna stick with Thor for the time being. Check on
Well,
my horse, make sure my horse is not being eaten, and
What I'm trying to get to is if you guys just start wandering amongst the Goliaths, it's gonna be weird. I don't know how to handle that without them just like being strange about it. So having Thor with you is probably ideal.
Well, they did see us with Thor. They know
Yeah.
that we're his companions, so I would assume that we might have some measure of...
Yeah, they're not just gonna start brutalizing you, but you're gonna have a lot less freedom, is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is their castle now in their eyes.
Yeah.
So.
I'll just start dragging Kustar up the stairs into, I guess, like the Great Hall. Is that what this is?
Yeah, there's like that great entrance, like hallway, and then there's the throne room, and there's the dining room.
Yeah, I guess I'll drag him into the throne room. Why not? And I'll just set him in the middle there so he doesn't drown on the rain outside.
As the party step inside, the first thing you would all notice is just how loud this once quiet building had been. When you were walking around with Flora and the guard, it was almost like a crypt, and now it is just full with raucous laughter and shouting and things breaking and being thrown. Looking into the doorway to the throne room is just like wide open from the various activities that are going on. You would see the guards that had been slain by you earlier have been stripped naked and thrown in a pile in the center of the room. All the corpses kind of gathered up. There's already like armor and spears being kind of collected and organized. There are Goliaths kind of running all over the place. Occasionally one will like run by you, Thor, and like clap you on the shoulder and then run back off. And they're carrying, food and boxes and crumpled up paper and just like anything they can get their hands on I think is interesting. Some of them are like carrying the little religious idols that were in the chapel, and they're kind of like looking at them funny as they're running past, and it's like a madhouse in here right now.
I can admire the efficiency.
Oh yeah, they're really good at what they do.
So I'm assuming the party then moves downstairs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So as you begin descending the staircase into the basement, you are hit with not only the smell of the rotting bodies, but of a bunch of different wines, like the very distinct, harsh smell of wine. And just getting to the hallway outside of all of the rooms, it is almost packed full of Goliaths like passing back wine bottles, some of them like taking huge chugs from them, some of them smashing over each other's heads. All of the doors are open down here, and you're kind of like stuck in a traffic jam because there's like a huge line of Goliaths leading to the cellar.
Oh shit.
I mean, so the other doors open too? Like
Yeah.
All right, I'll just kind of like yell at them. Like move, I need to get through.
You see them all like turn and spot you. They start like ducking in the doorways.
Yeah, and I'll like go into the cell room.
As you enter the prison cell room, as you glance towards the cell that you had left the two individuals in, you would see Florent is dead on the ground. There's a large gash splitting his skull from forehead to chin. He's kind of leaned up against the front of the cage, and then the guard that had been stuck in here is squished back into the corner as far away from the bars as he can, and there are various like nicks and cuts and scrapes all over his body, and there are like bits of broken glass and stray daggers and like rocks like laying all over the floor in front of him, as there's like 3 or 4 Goliaths in this room like drinking wine and chucking shit at him.
Could you get them to spare him? I feel
Yeah. No, I got it. Hey! Leave him alone.
One of them has like a broken wine bottle like raised and it looks over at you and there's kind of like,
Leave him alone. How'd the other one die? Did he ask for it? Was he trying to stab you?
they all kind of like look at each other and then like, is that what we got here? Yeah.
Right.
I approach the bars and looking at the guard, just sort of peering at him and like raising an eyebrow and saying, "What did they do?"
Well, Florent was talking to one of them, and then they just axed him in the face.
His tongue failed him at last.
Can I
Honestly-
leave, please?
He might have said kill me.
Well,
You'll be all right. We're sort of in charge here. Just stay out of their way.
and don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
God fucking damn it.
Don't
Knew
act
it was coming.
You cunt. Get out of here.
You know what? Take 6 points of exhaustion.
Perhaps he doesn't really need to be in there, does he?
No, I highly doubt that if he runs away, he will get very far at this point, because somebody will hear him, run after him, and probably throw an axe at him.
just stay with us and don't act weak. Pick it shit up.
Why don't we just
Make
send
eye
him
contact.
through the cinder, through the sewers?
We don't know what's on the outside of the sewers. You want this man to live, he should stay with us for a while.
Decker, you have the keys, by the way, so.
Yes.
We do need somebody alive, right?
Yes.
All right, you understand. Stay with us. Don't make eye contact. Don't make any sudden movements. Don't trigger their chase reflex. I'm not
Whatever
sure.
you
how the
say,
line
yes.
works.
What's your name, by the way?
Tom.
What?
Tom.
Oh,
Or Tommy, or Thomas. Thomas is my real name, but everyone calls me Tom.
all right, Thomas. Stay with us.
So you'd wait for you
You
to
have a
open the cage, and then he's
Do you have a
disarmed
weapon,
currently.
Thomas?
No.
Is there anything special about that rapier that Lemoyne
Florent
had?
head.
Florent.
No, I mean it's an elegant blade. It's clear that it's like built for someone of somewhat standing, but it's not like significant, like a magical way or anything.
I'll give him the rapier. Here, you look like a bit more of a man with this.
Kind of takes it, and then he just awkwardly kind of like tries to stick it in his belt so that he's not holding a weapon while walking around.
I'll pass over the scabbard.
Okay.
All right. Let's get out of here. Let them drink themselves to sleep. I imagine we're staying here for the night.
Thor, I feel strangely fine.
I did say you were part Goliath, so you makes sense. Right. I'll just I guess I'll just start like telling every Goliath I see like we're camping here for the night, like find a place to sleep.
If you eventually run into Gorge, who I guess is the face of the Goliath party, he'd probably be like your closest thing to a second man that you can kind of get.
Yeah.
But he would like find you be like, "Oh, we're sleeping inside tonight, yeah."
Yeah. I mean, there's nobody here anymore, so you're welcome to stay in here.
Oh, are you taking the big room?
Yeah, of course I am. What? You want the big room?
No.
I don't really care. I need to sleep somewhere because man, Gustar's a big guy.
He would kind of like point at the rest of the party and the guard. He's like, "They should sleep on the other courtyard."
I don't know that I don't know that I can make them do that.
You're the leader.
Yeah, but what have they done? What have they done to you? Nothing.
They're not us.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
we just let them be for now. Let them be.
Give me an intimidation check.
Oh my gosh! Don't make me do this right now. Yes. Thor, leader for 10 minutes.
He kind of like looks at him and looks at you. All right.
You can mess with them though. Just don't kill them. You know, you can be like, like just spook them a little bit.
As you
always
do
fun.
that, he kind of like will go to pass by you, but in a distinct way that makes him move by Clay. And Clay is this behemoth of a fucking individual is like over you. It was twice your height. You see this like shadowy face hovering above you as a chandelier like silhouettes his features. And you just see this like wicked grin. And he does the whole like kind of like shifts forward. He kind of like flexes his muscles a little bit.
Clay just gives him a little flick of the beard.
He would look back at Thor and then just start walking past.
Pretty funny, Gorge. And I will, guess inform the party that we're sleeping here and the Goliaths are not are racist. Yeah, they're racist.
It's a violent racism, so it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm so surprised. What?
I'm just letting you know that like I'm holding them off from beating the crap out of you.
To be clear, the first one that tries anything gets turned into a frog. Just say.
That would actually be pretty funny.
And to be clear, the first one that tries anything with me is going to see me run very fast.
I believe that. Do they like do anything to Valorant? I'm curious because Valorant's a pretty big dude. I mean, he's not as big as they are.
It seems so for all the interactions thus far, most of them are kind of almost like mystified by Clay. Like they think he's like a child, but then they see the beard and they're like, because like gnomes are not something they interact with on a regular basis. So yeah, they're mostly kind of ignoring Valorant and Decker just because it's just like cute, adorable little man-child walking around.
I would tell them that he can do magic tricks for them.
This is not gonna end well.
Yeah, I know. And I assume I will tell Clay like just do some magic for them. They'll be like, ooh, and then
Well, considering it is quickly getting to early the next morning and none of you have slept, what is the sleeping arrangements?
A really big
Clay
bed.
Clay would volunteer to keep an eye on the guard. Tom.
I mean,
bunk with
basically,
them.
I imagine we're all going to sleep in this big room, in some fashion. I mean, Thor can honestly just crash on the floor because he's just dead tired. You guys can do whatever you want as far as sleeping arrangements go.
Up to the party.
I would tell them, like, the Goliaths are picking rooms to sleep in, and I recommend that they don't try to take a room.
I actually go to find Belgrease and just camp. Take my bedroll, and he and I camp in a corner of the courtyard. I want to know what is the situation with him, so I'm gonna stick close to him for the night.
Okay.
Before we split up, question: do we want to grab the caravan, have them come meet us, camp in the courtyard?
I don't want the caravan anywhere near these guys.
No, it's not a good idea.
Well, then what do we do tomorrow?
Yeah, don't worry, the gears are turning up here. I'm working on that plan.
Okay.
I got it. It's there. I just don't want to tell you yet. I need to sleep. I'm going to sleep. God, just let me sleep, dog.
Okay.
Decker, will you join us in the big room? Switch off for watches.
Did you?
I know.
Can't we send the message with the bird and the deliver the message and?
Yeah,
Didn't
we
we
could
already
do that.
send her
Let's.
I don't
No.
know. Did we?
No, we didn't.
I don't think
No,
we
we
did.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
So we could do that and be
Yes,
like,
let's-
"Hey, we conquered the band of Goliaths. Just shoot us a message in the morning, and we'll get back to you shortly." Beep.
Okay. So for all intensive purposes, the night would go over relatively smoothly, even despite the tensions of all that has happened. The Goliaths would quickly celebrate and drink themselves into a stupor and then crash basically all over the place, and eventually find sleep, as the party does as well. The thunderstorm that marked their arrival would end somewhere around 4 or 5 in the morning, eventually kind of teetering off into just like a fine mist before eventually clearing up entirely. So it's probably around 7 or 8 in the morning as everyone starts rising yet again. Maybe Thor, you're... Yes?
Quick note before we're all back up. Clay would take the time in the middle of the night to ask Thomas. I can turn you into a cat or a wolf or something and get you out. Do you want to leave?
Why can't I just walk out?
Well, what's going to happen if you meet up with one of the glides?
They're all in here, aren't they?
Yes.
So just get me to the gate and then I'll leave.
I'm not leaving this room, but I can throw you out the window as a bird.
Fuck it, sure, whatever, yeah.
Wait, are we hearing this or is this unilateral?
I
Thor's
would
still asleep.
It's up to you,
have
Clay.
waited till it was late night. But I'm not necessarily whispering.
Decker, do you want to give me a perception check? See if you hear it while you're sleeping?
Yeah.
I would say that you would rise to hear the conversation. You're not like fully awake, but you're not up and standing, but you're hearing it from your sleeping position.
Clay, he stays with us. Please.
If you want him
He-
to live, we can just get him out.
I want him to live and I want him to be useful to us.
I'll do whatever
That's
you
what-
say. I'll go to the Queen's Coast and I'll tell the Queen what happened. Whatever you want, just let me get out of here.
You'll get out of here with us. You'll say whatever the hell Valorant wants you to say to whom you need to say it. And that's the end of it. I didn't spend all of this mental energy keeping your ass alive just to have you fly the fuck away from here.
All right. I was just taking the offer.
I
Fair enough.
understand. I support, for what it's worth, I fully support Clay in keeping you alive. You've, as far as I'm concerned, you've paid your penance. You'll have your chance to go forth and do some good in this world, but you'll need a bit more direction.
All right. So back to sleep. And then waking up at around like 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range. The sun cresting up, illuminating the landscape in the courtyard. The Goliaths would certainly enjoy just slumbering for a bit. They're not in any mood to get up at the crack of dawn. Valorn, what are you doing in your morning?
I'm just gonna sit tight. I'm not afraid of the Goliaths, but I don't see a reason to wander around and like bump into one that likes to fight with his morning coffee. So I'm just sitting tight and focusing my attention on the eye once again.
Okay. As you wait, I'm assuming kind of like being one of the earliest up, maybe like tending to Belgreaves, just kind of like making sure the situation's fine. You would get a message from Giggles, and you would hear it pop into your brain. Be, Lord Valorant, Lord Athelvain, Lord Athelvain, I have received company, Sierra, looking for you. Rolly.
I think you said that you received a message.
Yeah,
Rolly is looking for me.
Sierra has arrived, and then Rolly's name was mentioned.
Sierra has arrived and said, "Okay, neat." I actually say that in my response. Neat. Hmm. This is the 25 words one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Neat. All good here. Sierra is a friend. If you see Goliaths, clear the way. Be there soon.
All right.
Got to say love you.